Okay, good morning. Welcome to our week 16 of EDU115, Facilitating Learner-Centered Teaching, a course offered by LD Woosley, Bethany College. Welcome, everyone. Just would like to wait for my students to come in. Okay, welcome once again. I think I have a wrong Google Meet a while ago. Welcome. Okay, let's just wait for our students to come in. Oh, good morning, Meg. How are you?
Good morning.
Nako, sayang pag wala yung iba, hindi ko bibigay yung sagot dun sa reviewer. They need to review. They need to access this through our good morning, Acel. How are you?
Good morning.
Yan. So we'll have a full review today. So since we already completed our presentation, saka ako na i-deliver yung module 26 by next week. Next week will be our final lecture, week 17, and then week 18 is your... Meg, are you graduating from CTP?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ma'am Nila. How are you?
Good morning po. Okay naman, sir.
Who are graduating CTP? Ma'am Nila, are you graduating from CTP
Yes
course?
po. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I need to upload earlier the final exams for the CTP for the graduating CTP. How about you, Meg? Are you graduating?
Thank you po.
Meg, are you graduating from the CTP course? Or you're still new on the CTP?
Ano ba?
Are you graduating from the CTP course or not yet? Because some CTP students will graduate not yet.
Isang SEM pa po.
Isang SEM pa. Okay.
One SEM pa, sir.
One SEM. Aisel, you are incoming fourth year already, no? Aisel?
Ano po? Third year po.
Third year.
Opo.
Okay. So magkikita pa pala tayo next SEM sa math majors. And then let's wait for others to come in before we proceed, no? Okay, so I maybe a minute. Then we could start our. What is the last item that we? Mahina. Okay, noted. No problem. No problem. Welcome, May. How are you?
Good morning po. Okay naman po.
May, are you graduating from your CTP course?
Sabi na po ni Ma'am Ana, opo, hindi lang po kasi ako nakaligtaan po na enroll po ako. Kasi actually po, nag-enroll ako first sem. Pero na-realize po ng registry, ng admin na lahat ng subject na available, nakuha ko na po noon. Kaya sabi nila, sige sa second sem na lang ikaw papasok. Kaya po,
Okay.
akala nila hindi ako enrolled.
I see. But you will be you'll be graduating this no?
Opo. Hindi lang po ako makaka-attend kasi nasa Bacolod pa rin po yung pamilya namin hanggang ngayon.
Okay. Yes. Bacolod. Ano bang ano diyan? Napunta ako ng Bacolod eh. Yung airport nasa Silay, no? Tama.
Opo. Nasa sila yun po. Andito po kasi yung mga in-laws ko.
Yes. Welcome, Pastor Pen. How are you?
Good morning po.
Good morning. Bacolod. Ano ba yung pinupuntahan dyan? Yung, alam mo yung ano dyan? Yung resort na may malaking unggoy? Ano nga ba yun? O dinosaur ba yun?
Sa may po, sa Campuestuhan.
Oo, yan. Napuntahan namin ni Mrs. yan eh. Saka syempre, yung, ano ba yung ano? Meron pa dyan, yung napakaganda lugar. Ano bang lugar yun? Yung pinupuntahan na ano? Na parang place, para siyang ano na ngayon. Maganda siya sa background pag pinicturean mo siya sa ano, sa landscape. Napakaganda nung ano na yun. Tapos may mga lights siya sa gabi, no? Ano bang lugar yun?
Hindi ko lang po sure. Hindi po kasi kami nakakalipot gawa ng yung baby ko is 2 years old pa lang po.
Okay. Pero sikat yan, yung nakalimutan ko na eh. Kasi pag pupunta ako ng place, normally I go to churches. Pangalawa, I go to the scenic spot of the city. So yan, yung sinabi mong yun, yung may unggoy na malaki. Tapos, ayun, yung may pinuntahan kami dyan na, para siyang mansion eh. Mansion ba yun? The mansion ba yun? Nakalimutan ko yung pangalan eh.
Mansion? Ruins. Ruins daw po.
Ano yun?
Ruins.
Parang tama, the ruins. Oo.
Sa gabi po ay maraming ilaw.
Oo, yung maraming ilaw. Ang ganda niya. Iba yung itsura niya pag umaga, tapos pag gabi na, yung mga reflection na ganda. Tapos may tour din doon eh. May tour. Parang may sikat na vlogger yata yung nagtutour doon eh. Parang ganda. So,
maganda nga daw po doon. Hindi pa ako nakakapunta.
You try the ruins. Tama, ruins. Maganda siya eh. Hindi ko alam kung may picture kami ni Mrs. noon eh. Kasi dala lang namin yung so we came there. Then okay din yung sa Bacolod. Isa sa mga ano yun, kasi convention, as an engineer, I go places. I doing 3 things. I visited a church, a local church there, a Baptist church. And I visited, of course, I attended the conference. And then, ayun, yung scenic spots. So, hopefully nga, ngayong, this major convention in Davao, no? So, yan, marami sa Davao. Hopefully, Lord willing, if the restrictions will go down, yan, we could, okay, so, maganda yung sa Ruins, maganda yon. Punta ka doon. So, yung, doon. Ano ba doon? May kinain kami ni Mrs. doon na masarap eh. Parang natin, shake or something. Parang may shake silang, doon.
Ang sabi po ng mister ko dito daw pong specialty talaga nilang mga matatamis, mga desserts.
Oo, yes. Yung mga desserts na hindi ko nga alam. That was 4 or 5 years ago that we went there in Bacolod. Tapos may pelikula pa. Sino ba yung may pelikula dyan na may artistang dyan? Alam niyo ba yun guys? Sa Bacolod?
Liza Soberano at saka si Enrico.
Kay Liza yata may
Hindi ko lang po alam po anong movie.
Alam niyo ba yun guys yung pangalan ng pelikula? Ayun, sa Bacolod yun. Bacolod. Okay, good morning, Brother Joseph. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Sige, I think 7. So, 7 na kayo. So, perfect number yung 7. So, start na tayo.
Hello, Daddy.
Hi, good morning, my son. How are you? I'm having my class here.
Hello, shitters. Hello, fuckbye.
Wag na. You go down. Come on. Ayun, nambubulaga yung anak ko eh. So, yan. Sige, let's continue now. Let's open a word of prayer. Okay, welcome Pastor RJ, welcome. Yeah, let's open a word of prayer. Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity where we could continue on our review for our final week preparation. Some students will be graduating from their CTP course. I pray for your grace to them, that they may continue, and eventually this would enable them to take the board examinations, the licensure exam for teachers. I pray for your guidance. I pray for your wisdom be bestowed upon us, Lord, as we analyze test items that we may gain from this teaching and learning experience. This is our prayer in Christ's name. Amen. Okay, welcome D and Ken.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, May.
Morning, sir.
Sir, ask ko lang po, kasi wala po akong idea kung paano po yung, di ba po ang requirement po ng PRC for taking LET is 18 units po. Hindi, nagre-require po ba sila ng certificate?
Yes, the school will issue a certificate, parang transcript din.
I mean po sa PRC, pwede po ba na walang certificate, TOR lang na may 18 units and above?
Oo, yun. Basta may nakalagay doon for, inonote naman dyan ni kung sining registrar's office for licensure exam purposes. Tapos i-evaluate yan ng PRC, yung transcript mo kung required, yung minimum requirement. We are above minimum kasi I think we're 21 or 24 units.
30 na, sir. Sa bagong curriculum.
Ngayon ba 30 na? 30 na kayo?
Opo. Kasi po actually, meron na po akong 21. Isang subject na lang sana kukunin ko. Yan nga lang po, ang certificate requirement 30 units na. Kaya 3 subject na lang din kinuha ko para may certificate.
Oo.
Sayang din eh.
30 na pala kasi nung time namin, that was 9 years ago, when I take the board examination. 18 plus, actually 21 units ako eh. 21 units. Pasok naman.
Sa PRC ata, sir, 18 lang. Pero po sa yung certificate na issue ng LD Woosley po, kailangan para magkaroon ka ng certificate 30.
30.
Opo.
Okay. So anyway, they will issue a transcript on top of your undergraduate transcript.
Okay po.
Dapat meron ka
Thank
ring
you, sir.
copy ng undergrad transcript for PRC purposes plus the transcript for CTP credits. So dalawa siya.
Okay po. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Sige, tuloy na natin to. Ano ba yung number 6 tayo o 7? You recall the item that we have last time?
Number 6 po.
Number 6. So we're now number 7. Tama, no? 6 ang last, so 7 na tayo. So we could
Yes, sir.
so ito yung patungkol kay Jo, no? So ito yung number 6, I think I remember, no, na kita natin to, yung aspect of efficacy, self-efficacy ni Jo o yung kanyang yung achieve things, no, yung kanyang there must be a drive to motivate him, no, to achieve, no. So I think that's number 5, and then number 6 is letter A, I think the answer, no. Within him, it's something that is a factor within him and within his control. Pero meron din factor, teacher factor dito, no. Of course, we could always discuss beyond the test items, no. May teacher factor din syempre. Syempre may mga tasks na talagang mabigat. No, kaya pag teacher tayo, I would suggest that you may have a table of specification normally in your summative test. There must be yung assessment for learning. Ito yung mga daily routines nyo, short activity, something like that could assess the student for the purpose of learning, no? So okay yun but what I'm referring is assessment of learning. Now, in terms of summative test, I would suggest for teachers, you should have your own table of specification. You identify how many items are intended for, based on the objective, the lesson plan objective, no? You identify which of course, you could make as guide your Bloom's taxonomy, no? So, magandang batayan yan in terms of how will you, ilang percent yung average or easy, average, and difficult questions. So sometimes, as I observe, may mga cases na it's too hard talaga. Mahirap talaga yung ibinibigay na requirement. So kasi if there is walang table of specification, madaling too easy. Pag too easy yung summative test, so ano mangyayari? Complacency. No, ibig sabihin, ay, wala to, kahit di na ako mag-aral kasi ganito lang yung type ng examination. Okay. Pag too difficult naman, frustration. No, frustration. So, we must balance that, guys. No? Yung, lalo na sa yung assessment of learning, no, natin. Yung assessment for learning, ano naman yan, no? So, for the purpose of, it's more of the benefit of the student in the sense that they would know yung kanilang dapat pang malaman, no? Perhaps we could make use of a pre-test and then post-test activity, or perhaps an activity that would connect their prior knowledge to the current topic that you have. So many forms naman yan, hindi lang short quizzes, it could be performance tasks, no, that enables them at the end of the day, ito pala yung mga kulang ko pa, no? But kasi ang board examination is more of criterion reference. There are standards and there are set standards. Meron siyang TOS, table of specification. So yung mga binibigay na tanong based doon sa percentages. Kaya maganda, guys, tong reviewer na to. The end of the sem, I promise I upload these 2 volumes of from Lorimar Publishing, no? I think there's a third one. I'm not so sure, no? But as far as I know, there are only 2 volumes for professional course. Not only for EDU115, but for all professionals. Kailangan nyo magbasa, guys, ha? Kasi ang CTP, wala kayong... Are you part of the review class or the audit course? CTP? May audit course pa kayo?
Wala po kong idea, sir.
Ang audit kasi sa undergrad, ang audit sa undergrad, it's more of the review course. Ito yung EDU199. Tama ba, Hazel? Yan yung binibigay after the practicum or during the practicum. There's an audit course. EDU199. Hindi ko alam kung may counterpart siya sa CTP. So, kailangan, guys, na yung basa-basa tayo. No? Dahil na sa CTP, kung walang audit course, I'm not so sure if you are able to go to no, hindi pa siguro possible yun, yung mga physical review centers. No? But there are a lot of review centers that offering online. That's just an option, no? But you could always self-review.
Sir, excuse me po.
Yes.
Sir, yung nagre-review po kasi doon dyan sa Bethany po, yung kukuha po ng licensure exam si Mang Widwidan. Free po yun?
Oh, that's part of the curriculum ng undergrad. Yun yung tinatawag ng EDU199 natin. Yun yung audit course. Kaya lang, syempre, isang lang yun. Isang semester. So, kasama ang CTP doon. Isinasama kayo doon.
Opo, sir. Opo.
Ayun. So, maganda pala. May audit, kayo. Kaya lang, syempre, dalawa yon. Normally, yung review na yun, dalawa, Gen Ed, Prof Ed.
Sir, opo.
Depende pa yan kung ano yung specialization nyo. Yung specialization, yan talaga yung sariling sikap nyo, specialization. Kasi iba-iba kayo ng undergrad eh. No? Yung inyong specialization will based on your undergrad, yung inyong bachelor's degree. So I'm not so sure kung saan ba values ba yung pag ABM values education. Parang yun yung pinakamalapit eh. Pag business ad ka naman, definitely technology, vocational education, Tibet, livelihood education. Ako, engineer ako, so math ang binibigay sa engineers. So depende yan. Pagka ayan, yung iba sa atin ng mga nurse, most probably science major. Yun. So yung majorship nyo, magiging sariling sikap yan, guys. But basically, kung doon sa audit course, Gen Ed, Prof Ed ang nila, may tuturo sa kanila. Okay, so yan, kaya nga in my course, I also give my contribution, at least for EDU115 and EDU101. Okay, meron na kayong baseline review material. Though marami pa, no? It's not the only option, no? You could always buy books, no? In not only Lorimar Publishing, Rex Publishing is also good. And there are other reviewers. No, in fact, online. Yung mag-ingat lang sa online kasi since assorted siya, so yung degree of error mas malaki kumpara doon sa mga published books. Though meron ding error yung mga published books, hindi naman perfect. Pero pag sa internet lang kasi, maaaring kasi kinumpile niya lang. Hindi talaga siya expert doon sa topic na yon, kinumpile niya lang. Ayun, so nagkakaroon ng doon, ng degree of error. But if you will buy books na talagang published, no? So yan, okay din yun. But of course, you don't need to buy these 2 volumes. I will upload this in entirety, no? Hindi lang yung in-screenshot ko for EDU115, but the entire Prof Ed. No? So the entire Prof Ed. Ito, may bonus pa ako. Pati yung Gen Ed ko, i-upload ko. Yung Gen Ed. May Gen Ed din ako eh.
Yes, sir.
So parang problema
Thank you, sir.
yung inyong Lorimar din siya. kasi parang in a way I'm a product of Lorimar Publishing kasi I'm using all of my textbook in Edu is Lorimar. Ayan. So, ito sa math to. Math. Ayan, this is my Lorimar for mathematics. Ayan. Yung nga lang pang math to. Ayan. So, ito, ibibigay ko sa mga math majors to. Ayan, makikinabag dyan si Aisel. Ayan, mathematics, Lorimar. Of course, your book for this course, EDU115. Ayan. So, Lorimar din to. Ayan. And of course, if I'm also handling research, yan. For senior high school nga rin nakuha ko, Lorimar pa rin. So, parang panatik ako ng Lorimar. Kasi I know the authors. Dr. Brenda Corpus is the Dean of Education in PIP, Quezon City. She don't know me, but I know him because he's a prominent educator. And most of the authors of this publishing had been board of the education, teaching education. Yung board of professional teacher, no? Karamihan mga board members. So they know the content. They know what they're discussing. Welcome, Gillian. How are you? Okay, so that's at the end of the semester. I will upload. Pero you download immediately because in due time, no, the classroom will be archived. No, it will be archived. So meaning pag na-deactivate siya, wala na kayong mada-download. So at the end of the sem, download lang kayo ng download. Okay? So marami tayong i-upload diyan na materials. Okay? So I promise I'll upload both
Sir,
Prof
thank you po.
and Gen Ed. Para at least may preparation na rin kayo pag nag-join kayo kay Madam doon sa review. So meron na kayong background, meron na kayong stock knowledge. Mahirap pag magsimula sa scratch. No, it's hard to review when starting from scratch. No, kasi review is higher level study method. Unlike classes, you could start from scratch, from zero. But on a review session, dapat may alam ka na. Meron ka ng foundational knowledge, meron ka ng background reading para yung pagre-review mo mas effective. Now, you will have more effective review sessions if you have more readings, background readings. Okay? Siguro, share ko rin yung PNU ko. PNU is yung reviewer, kung makaka-access kayo doon, yung latest, the best din yun. Kasi, PNU, Philippine Normal University Center for Teacher Education. Now, he's the Center of Excellence for Teacher Education. So, some of the review board members are from PNU. No, pakita ko nga sa inyo. Para anin ko lang kayo, guys. Kumbaga pag tumitikim ka ng ice cream, minsan kailangan tingnan mo muna yung ice cream, no? Alright. So anyway. So ito yan, guys, para i-upload ko to. No, yan, maliit lang yung, if you're in PC, makikita nyo, pero pag mobile, medyo hirap. Ayan, so, yan, dami kasing course ng EDUC, no? I already listed all. Saan yung review materials natin dito? Ayan, let reviewers, guys. Ito. I have my PNU for 2013. This is the time that I took the board exam. So that's the latest during the time that I took the board exam. So this I will give to you. Now, though I know there are updates, I think there are updates. Ayan, Lorimar. Ito matatanggap nyo, guys. Lorimar Professional Reviewer 1 and 2. Ito, meron pa tayong, tapos yung Gen Ed yan. Nasaan na kaya yung Gen Ed? Anyway, hanapin ko pa. And then yung mga PNU reviewers, yan, I could also share to you. Yan guys yung ating ma-upload natin sa ating classroom. I won't hindi ko siya i-upload sa chat group sa classroom. I-announce ko lang na in-upload ko na siya. Okay? So yan, so welcome everyone, no? So let's continue. Perhaps. So those are just reminders. So guys, no, if you're really intending to take the licensure examination, after you receive your CTP certificate, you need to have a lot of readings. You schedule, schedule readings nyo. Schedule nyo readings nyo. Uunahin nyo si Gen Ed or Prof Ed. Depende sa how will you distribute the number of weeks. So I think you have, since twice a year ang licensure exam. So 5 months. Hatiin nyo sa 5 months yung tatlo, yung Prof Ed, Gen Ed, saka majorship. Okay? So you could allot 2 months for Prof Ed, 2 months for Gen Ed, and kahit 1 month lang sa specialization kasi specialization yun. And then from out of the 2 months for Prof Ed, you distribute it to equally among the components of the professional education curriculum. Alright? And then yung Gen Ed ang marami. No, kaya pwede kayong maging flexible sa Gen Ed. Napakadami kasi ng Gen Ed. Yun lang, yung probability na yung mabasa mo, yun ang magsasagot sa board exam, napakababa. Yun yung problema sa Gen Ed kasi napakalawak niya. Napakalawak. Maraming probability ng test sets. Pero sa Prof Ed, tiyak yung Prof Ed. Specific yun eh. No, yung mga competencies nun. So yun, pwedeng 2-1 o pwedeng pwedeng yung gawing 1.53 0.5. Pwedeng 0.5 lang yun, tapos ibigay nyo yung Gen Ed na medyo marami kasi bulk siya. Nasa inyo. Pero kung model ko 2-2-1 ako eh. 2-2-1. 2 months for Prof Ed, 2 months for Gen Ed, 1 month for professional education. And then you need to have a Gantt chart, guys. Gantt chart. Iga-Gantt chart nyo yan. Ibig sabihin, yung progress nyo per week. Ano na yung naaral nyo, nabasa nyo, na-review nyo. This is more on personal, no? Personal study to. Iba yung bilis dun sa review session. O pwede rin naman na sabayan nyo. Sabayan nyo kung ano yung bilis ng review session dun sa personal review nyo. Pero siyempre, hindi lahat mako-cover dun sa review session. That's more on Gen Ed, Prof Ed lang yun eh. Pero yung specialization, kailangan ka pa rin mag-alat ng at least 1 month for that. I'm already giving you some practical tips, guys. No? Sana yon, i-consider nyo yan. Every day, you should read something. No? Huwag kayong lilipas ng isang araw na wala kayong nababasang kahit ano regarding your LET preparation. No? Although alam natin, busy tayo. We are all busy. No? We are all busy. Nevertheless, you should commit your time, whether at least 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours a day. Ayan, if you are working, no, you could commit, or if you are just staying at home, it's better. You will have longer time to study. Now, the technique, the methods, up to you. No, some may be good at writing in an index card. No? If you think that's more effective to you, then do it. No, kasi ako hindi effective yun. No, normally, dumidiretso ako doon sa mga material. Or if perhaps it's effective for somebody to read the question, then you will answer directly. No? Okay din yon. So, methodology. Pero I'm just laying down some general principles that you need to commit per day. No? Of course, Lord's Day, wag na kayo mag-review pag linggo, ha? Ano yun? So, Monday to Saturday, ganun. Or Monday to Friday. So, you could have that commitment. Okay ba guys? Make sense? Am I making sense? Yun yung mga practical natin. So 2-2-1 ang model ko for within the 5 months time. 2-2-1. So 2 months for Ed, 2 months for Gen Ed, or pwedeng 1.5, 1.5, 3.5. Nasa inyo yun sa proportion. Pero lamang ang Gen Ed eh. Marami kasing scope. Then Prof Ed, pinaka-konti majorship. Kasi yan na yung supposedly gamay nyo. Kung math major kayo, yan, mas advantage yung English major, English language. Kung iba pang mga majors, ayan, so babalikan nyo. So I think you need to have a separate review material for your specialization. Wag nyong papabayaan yung specialization. So meron namang mga review material dyan. Kung math major nga lang kayong lahat, bibigyan ko na kayo nito. Ito. So this for specialization for mathematics. Baka makikinabang lang nito si Acel. Sino pa? Si Gillian, nandiyan na ba? Ayan, Gillian. Ayan, ito, pinangako na ko na sa inyo to eh. Dalawa yan. So ito for Gen Ed Math and then for ito naman specialization math. Dalawa yan eh. Specialization math to. Ayan. So wag na kayo bumili. I-scan ko na to para sa inyo guys. For math majors to. Ayan. Yun lang. Pag sabi ko nga sa mga math majors, pag pray nyo yung scanner ko, hindi pumalpak. Wala tayong may scan dyan. No? So for specialization, siguro mag-inquire na kayo kay Ma'am La-Arnie or sino dyan sa office, ano yung magiging specialization nyo para meron din kayong resources. Kasi may cases na yung undergrad mo hindi tugma doon sa specialization. Eh. May mga case na ganun. Depende kasi sa region, depende sa area. May marami silang, pero dapat ang major na dahilan yung undergrad mo. Kung ano yung undergrad mo, relative doon yung specialization dapat. Pero may cases, akong alam, na naiiba. Halimbawa, merong isang pastor na business ad ang kanyang undergrad, binigay sa kanya social science, social studies. So medyo off. Bakit kaya? Kasi sir, ang dahilan niya, yung region na kung saan siya kukuha, yun yung marami. So for practicality sake dun sa PRC, kung iisa ka lang na major doon, magpiprint pa ba ng ganon? Isasama ka na dun sa maraming social science. Ganun yung sense ng guys. Kaya dapat malaman nyo agad yung majorship nyo. You could inquire aning normal na majorship ng mga CTP student ng LD. Hindi ko kasi alam kung ano yung normal. No? Pag alam ko ABM, values education yan dapat. Wala namang Christian education, values education.
Yes, sir. Values nga po yata, sir. Ang sabi po sa amin.
Oo. So yan, meron na kayo dapat dyan na meron na dapat kayong backup material reviewer for specific for values education majorship. So, kasi pag values, eto guys, pag siguro, meron akong curriculum ng values education para malaman yung content. Merong curriculum, at least alam niyo yung iba kasi yung curriculum nyo doon sa values education curriculum. Values education. Nasaan ba yun? Ayun, values curriculum. No? Ito, dapat alam nyo to, itong values education curriculum. Ito, content lang naman to. Content to nung specific subject. Pero at least alam niyo yung paano yung flow of thought ng values education. Galing mismo sa DepEd to. Ito, gusto niyo ba to, mga ABM student? Ayan, no? Ito yung mga core courses ng values education, yung majorship niya. Ano yung mga laman niya? Teka. Sige, upload ko rin to, yung buti nabanggit nyo values. Ito, ayan, no? Guys, ito yung majorship ng values education. Ito. Pero curriculum, ano lang to? Curriculum lang to hindi pa siya yung laman talaga. At least may idea kayo ano yung laman ng values education. Through the prospectus. 220 pages to. So medyo detalyado rin siya. At least may idea kayo. Tapos yung mga reference na nakalagay dito, pwede yung hanapin yan. Kasi iba yung curriculum natin eh. Iba yung ABM natin or yung Bible College curriculum natin sa prescribed ng ito yan no. Ilan yung ano niya? 21 courses no. Puro sa values education. So malamang diyan kukunin yung majorship. Yung tanong sa mga majorship. So galing mismo sa DepEd do, yan Teacher Education Council. Alright? So yun yung siguro remind me by next week no. I will this will be part of my uploads no. All right. So yung ibang major di ko alam eh. Kung business ka wala yata akong ganun. Social science meron. Social science, math, siyempre meron akong mathematics. All right? So yun yung ating Hopefully, ayan, kapag ano tayo kasi guys, kahit yung CTP, you will be representing LD. Let me remind you that you will, even though you're a postgrad student of LD, you'll represent LD during the board. So it's on the account of LD Woosley, Bethany College, the institution. That's why you could make or break the school, no? That's a reminder, guys. Kaya dapat maging responsible tayo sa preparation. Hindi lang tayo nandiyan naman ang biyaya ng Diyos eh. May mga ganung mga mindset ha. So I think hindi siya biblically balanced. No? Yes, nandiyan ang biyaya ng Diyos pero you have a responsibility. Ibabalance natin sa responsibility yung God's sovereignty. Yung sovereign grace ng Panginoon. Nandiyan yung sovereign grace ng Panginoon. Pero in terms of your human responsibility to study in preparation, diligent study, so dapat balance yun. Of course, everything we owe to the Lord. Everything for God's glory. That's why we're doing this. No? Huwag tayong umasa lang na sa idea na papasa ako by God's grace. Yes, papasa ka by God's grace, but you should be responsible enough. Okay? And one of which, of course, preparing for the board examination. So, yun. At least may yung values education. Ayan, bibigay ko yung curriculum sa inyo. At least may general idea kayo dun sa content. With the reference, maaring wala akong access doon. Nasa inyo na yun. It's up to you. Or perhaps you could look for a values education review material. Okay? Ang suggestion ko dyan, guys, punta kayong PNU. Yung kung specialization reviewer, PNU is still one of the best teacher education that could provide review materials, PNU. Or kung may access kayo sa co-ed ng UP Diliman, yan, okay din yun. Yung kanilang doon, yung National College for Education nila. They're providing good materials as well, no? For majorship. No, yung majorship kasi yung battleground natin. Mahirap naman kung yung majorship yung bumagsak. Mahirap 'yon. Minajor mo nga yan tapos diyan ka babagsak. Napakahirap na bagay noon. Alright, so I hope I'm making sense, guys, kasi hindi lamang naman, ang purpose ng course na ito, hindi lang para kayo pumasa sa akin. Sana hindi lang ganun yung mindset natin, but also to prepare a lifelong commitment for the Lord in terms of your teaching ministry. No, that's our commitment. Now, this course is just contributing to that. Of course, we have you have all of the courses with you, and EDU115 is just one of your course, and our hope, our aim is for that you may be able to pursue this teaching ministry, teaching profession and ministry, no? Where ministry and profession intersect one to another. All right? So yun yung yan, I have that thought only. No, reminder, no, you are representing, when you take the board exam, you're not only representing yourself, but you are representing the school, no, and your gospel, and of course its ultimate goal, your ultimate goal is to use education now for the glory of God in terms of our gospel mandate, gospel mandate for evangelism and edification. So dapat hindi mawala yung guys, hindi yung bahala na si Lord, bukas na pala yung exam, wala ka pang preparation ngayon. So sigurado yan. Siguradong lalagpa ka. Yan. So as soon as you graduate, most especially those graduating CTP students here, yan, you plan ahead. No? Yun nga yung 5-month time. 5 months or less, no? It could be 6 months. No, kasi twice a year ang licensure. I'm not so sure kung minerge na lang siya sa isa. Pero during our time, it's twice a year. So you could plan for a 5 to 6 weeks plan. Anyway, so yung ating review naman natin yan. No? But siyempre kailangan niyo ng practical. Baka I have no time anymore to show you some practicality on preparation. Baka huli nating pagkikita na to, guys. Next sem, some of you will graduate, so no more. Some of you, I'm not so sure if I would take other EDU115. that will be assigned to me. No, so saan ba yun? Eto guys, dapat magkaroon kayo ng Gantt chart. No? When I took the board exam, I personally have my Gantt chart. Ibig sabihin ng Gantt chart, yung progress of your review. You should, dapat meron kang asawa mo or somebody that is close to you would monitor you as well. Kasi minsan, pasaway tayo guys eh. Dahil you are so much imbued with some other things, you forgot your commitment. Let me check my let reviewers. I think I still saved my Gantt chart when I first review. That was 9 years ago, I guess. Orientation. Basta may ginawa pa akong Gantt chart dito dati. Para siyang Gantt chart. Something like that. Ito, timetable guys. Oh. I made the timetable for the let review. 2013 yan. I'm not so sure actually the content. I have not revisited this file. Mabagal lang yung internet ko. But of course, you could personalize this methodology. I'm just laying out some general practical way where you could approach your. Wag hayaan niyo isang araw guys na hindi kayo nagbasa, nag-review, nag-aral. Yan ang payo ko sa inyo. Kasi pag yung momentum nyo sa pag-aaral, mawawala yan once you miss one. No? Maaring sa mga klase ng EDU115, nami-miss nyo yung klase, okay lang. Okay lang guys. Kung katulad ng ginagawa nyo sa akin, okay din yun. Walang problema. I won't take it personally. Pero in terms of your review, if you miss one, no, yung nagkakaroon ng diminishing return sa'yo eh. Ito guys, ito sample lang to ng aking ginawa nun. Sample lang to. I am just sharing this to you, no, to at least to make some practicalization of. Actually ako mas parang intact tong aking teka lang kaya ganito. I made my timeline, no. Okay, masyado namang maano. Okay, what can you see guys? I need to zoom, no? Para at least may idea kayo kung how will you approach it. Now ako, I'm scheduling readings and drill quizzes. Readings and drill, parang ito final, parang inano ko siya. And then I take personally a pre-board test. Now this could be done through your peers. No, you just print out a random question, no, and then you try to answer it on a blank sheet. And then you could allow the help of some of your peers to check. No, drills, no, meron akong schedule for drills, then and readings and drill quizzes, and then pre-board tests. All right, and then inuna ko na yung specialization, no? Then professional, I divided it into 4 components. The 4 components of professional education. 4 lang naman yan eh. No, yung child adolescent 20%. So I think principles of teaching will have 25% and some would have its proportion. Okay. I have their readings and then I schedule my pre-board tests. And then lastly Gen Ed. Ayan. Meron akong readings, lahat ng component Gen Ed, English, Filipino, Mathematics, Science, Social Science, ICT. And then we have, I accomplished this. And then of course, a day off and relax. I need to give myself a relaxation. Siyempre, kailangan mo, on all of this pressure, you need to a day off. The day off should be 2 or 1 day before the exam. Take note tingnan mo yung ko. 27, nag-Gen Ed ako, tapos 28, relax ako. Sabado to eh. Pagdating ng kinalingguhan, the board exam. So meron kayong day off kasi pag Sabado, linggo na yung exam mo, no? Sabado nagre-review ka, wag ka nang mag-review. Wala nang masyadong contribution yon. It might be just a distraction or perhaps you will just be cramming. Kaya kailangan ng schedule, guys eh. Kailangan talaga ng schedule. Okay? And then, yan, licensure exam 29. Okay? So my plan here is actually starting August 30. But August 30 lang, sir? Kala ko ba 5 months? Kaya ganyan yan kasi I'm also a professor already that time. I'm already teaching in the university. And that time I'm handling some administrative position as well. So my time is consumed, no, for this 8-hour clock, and I'm only reading after my work. So kaya ko siya in-squeeze ng ganito lang kabilis from August 30, and then the licensure exam is September 29. 1 month lang actual na literal kong preparation, guys. Pero wag niyong gagawin to. Hindi kayo ako. Okay? So pwede niyong i-spread to ng 5 buwan. Guys. Make sense ba? Are you making sense? Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Oo. Pwede niyong i-spread dyan ng 5 buwan. Wag niyo akong gayahin. Okay? Kasi ako may work. Marami akong that time I'm already on my finishing on my doctorate, and then other things, maraming pop up, and then I have administrative function also in the college and other things. So I have only 1 month squeezing preparation. Pero kayo, you could spread that for 5 months. Ayan. So ito, suggestion lang to. Nasa inyo yan how you distribute your courses. No? So every time you finish a component, you could have a pre-board test. No? You could have a pre-board test. Marami namang pwedeng maganda nga niyan kung meron kang katulong dito na irarambol yung mga tanong kasi minsan kabisoti tayo. Huwag kayong mangangabisa. You should understand by principle. You should understand the principle, not rote memorization. No, rote memorization is will not make sense at all. Though kung mathematics or kung other principles na pwede, stock knowledge pwede, pero yung rote memorization, no. Analysis still okay, and analysis based on your background readings. The more you read things, the more that it's easier to pop up your mind, easier to recall whenever you read more. O, kaya wala kang ma-recall kasi hindi ka nagbabasa. Yan ang problema sa mga examiner. But naku, hindi ko naisip, hindi ko na-recall sa exam kasi hindi mo binasa. How many times you will read the material? It's up to you. But normally, I would suggest you could read a review material as many as you can. Twice, thrice, or quadrice. No? Or perhaps extra rice. No? Joke na yun. May extra rice pa. So, yan, yung guys, no? Yung, kunyari, iikutin nyo. 10 yung materials mo, iikutin mo yan. Hanggat hindi pa umaano yung cycle ng 5 months mo, dire-diretso lang, basa ng basa. Until such time, yung tanong, magiging bahagi na ng buhay mo. No? Bahagi na ng buhay mo yan on that particular period of time. Alright? Until the final day. No? So, guys, make sure you have a day off, ha? Make sure, wag lahat ng araw day off. Sinasabi ko sa inyo, pag lahat ng araw day off, lalagpa kayo, sigurado. So, 1 to 2 days, no? Ideal 2 days, practical 1 day. No? Yan, September 29 yung board exam ko. That's 2013. The result came in December. No, December. Ang tagal, no? 2 months, no? 2 or 3 months pa nga. Yan. So, napakahaba nung aking number. More than 1 million ng teachers eh. 1 million. Samantalang doon sa profession ko as professional electronics engineer, we're just less than 2,000 on our field. But as teacher, I'm more than 1 million already. More than 1 million something. Actually, di ko nga kabisado yung PRC number ko sa as teacher, no. Okay, guys. So those are my sharing, no. You have question before I continue with the review? Anyway, we have a lot of time naman. Kaya siningit ko lang to. May question ba? Yeah, may question ba guys? Ito pwede nyo spread ng 5 months. Ako, isang buwan lang talagang kinaya ko. Hindi kaya yung 5. Actually, parang Gantt chart ko pa to. Hindi ko lang yung Gantt chart ko. Gantt chart siya. Yung Gantt chart, yung table of progress yun. Hindi ko lang siya, siguro nawala na in antiquity. This is already a 9-month-old file. Kaya siguro, hindi ko na siya na-Gantt chart. Okay guys, do you have question? Clarification. You ask me now kasi we may not have time in afterwards.
Wala po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay? Yes, Ma'am May?
Sir, may yung scoring po ba sa let depende sa highest and lowest score?
Hindi siya, criterion reference siya. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya yung norm reference. Kasi norm reference, relative doon sa performance ng iba. Babanggain mo dito yung standard niya. Pag bumaba ka doon sa standard, bagsak. Hindi siya yung relative average, yung kung saan in relation to others' performance. No, it's not in relation to performance of other examinee, but for the standard. So criterion reference kasi ang licensure exam. So possible
meron
na
po talagang
maraming
score na aabutin.
Oo. Pag hindi ka inabot ng cut-off, laglag ka talaga sa 75%. 75%. So yung target nyo at least 75%. Hindi kayo pag bumaba doon, hindi ko alam kung meron ina-apply na yung conditional sa let. I'm not so sure. No, pero target nyo dapat not just the average but all components. All components should be 75 and above.
Okay po, sir. Thank you po.
So hindi siya yung norm reference. No, unlike sa yung norm reference, yung entrance exam, ang natatanggap niyo yung percentile rank. Di ba percentile rank? Yung percentile rank, norm yun. No, relative siya sa performance ng lahat na nag-exam. Pero ang board exam, criterion reference. So meaning, regardless whether you're relatively high to others, but if you're still not within the limits of the criteria, then you failed the exam. So ganun yung pagkakaiba. Alright? So yun yung natin doon. So other question? May tanong pa ba? So if you will take that board exam, do not delay. I would suggest within the semester or one, don't delay. I will not suggest delaying the exam for 1 or 2 years. Pag 1 and 2 years, guys, alam nyo, wala na. Wala na kayong nakalimutan nyo na yung foundation nun. Kaya mahirap mag-recall kapag ganun nakatagal. Hanggat fresh pa sa isip natin, mag-take na kayo at you take the discipline. Kaya nyo naman yan. Hindi naman, ang layunin kasi ng government is to accept professionals. Take note, the purpose of the government in doing this across the board, all of the boards, is to invite professionals to pass the minimum standard of the government as far as the practice of the profession is concerned. So huwag kayong matakot mag-take ng board. Okay? Kailangan lang ng preparation. Kailangan lang ng discipline. Ako sa engineering, no? So sangkatutak na reviewer. Sa let exam, mayroon akong 1 month preparation. No? Kayo din, you will be given at least 5 months to prepare so you could spread the review. So don't miss a day without any reading or drill, no, or exam, no? So yun. Okay, other
Baka
question?
daw po, sir, next year pa magkaroon ng available na. Kasi po yung mga board exam this year, yung mga last year po na push,
Oo. Oo, parang may backlog, no? Something like that.
Opo.
Pero as soon as possible, guys, I would suggest as soon as possible. Kasi pag na-miss nyo yan, yung momentum na nababawasan din. I know the feeling. Nababawasan yung momentum. If you're really pursuing to pass, no, you should as early and as ready as possible. As soon as you're ready, ayan, mag-take na lang. Of course, ngayon, it's an extraordinary situation because of the pandemic. Okay, other from others here would like to ask question. Meron pa ba, guys? Magtanong na kayo kasi baka mahirap magkaroon ng pwede niyo namang itanong yan sa ibang professor, okay lang. Kaya niyo itanong sa akin. Okay, may mga question pa dyan in mind. Wala na? Okay, sige, let's continue here. No? So, thank you for listening. I hope I make sense, guys, on the practicality of review preparations or LET preparation. Actually, sa totoo lang, mas kinabahan ako sa LET kaysa engineering license ko. Mas kinabahan ako. Kasi yung preparation ko, 1 buwan lang, readings talaga yun. Grabe yung readings ko nun. Nung mga panahon na yun. It's good thing I already married that time. Yun, si Mrs. malaki yung factor doon. Nag-review kung ano-anong ginagawa niyang support. Maganda rin kasi, yun, that time I'm already, we're now celebrating our 11th year. So I took the board 2013, we got married 2011. So meron na akong kahit papaano support. My wife understands the situation. So yung mahalaga rin yung support sa home. Napakahalagang factor yun pag nagre-review ka. So ayan, kasi nung ako nag-take ng licensure, binata pa ako. Pero mas kinabahan ako sa LET because of my lack of preparation. I only have 1 month. But for engineering, I enrolled in a review center for almost a semester also. So at least meron doon. Doon nung na-realize ko, mas mahirap ang exam ng licensure exam for teachers kaysa doon sa electronics and communication engineering examination. So mas mahirap siya. Lalo na yung mathematics. Sa math major, I'm not so sure with other majors. Right? Pero yung Gen Ed Prof Ed, kayang-kaya niyo yan. Basta familiarity, basa lang kayo, analysis. No? Kasi minsan binabalik-baliktad lang yung choices, iniiba-iba lang yung tao, pero yung prinsipyo that you could draw from that question still the same, remains the same. No? Kailangan talaga analysis eh. One of yung critical thinking is essential in taking the board examination. No, it cannot be done by only rote memorization, guys. Kung kabisote ka ng high school, siguro naman walang kabisote ngayong college, no, hindi mo kaya, hindi mo madadala yan pagdating sa board. Bakit? Yung kinabisa mo, ibang-iba doon sa kukunin mong exam. So mararatel ka ngayon kasi teka, iba yung kinabisado ko doon sa lumabas sa exam. Okay? So nagkaroon katuloy ng doon, ng pagkagulat. Pag nagulat ka sa isang tanong, domino effect yan, guys. Na domino effect. No? You don't approach that way. You approach it by the principles drawing out from the question itself. And analyzing, perhaps if you don't know the answer, learn to eliminate. Learn to know if you don't know the answer, learn to know who are not the possible answer. Get rid of all of the answers that are not possible. And then, pag dalawa na lang ang natira, yan, mag-pray ka na sa Panginoon ngayon. Kunyari, hindi mo talaga alam yung sagot, pero na-eliminate mo sa dalawa lang. Ito yung potential na tamang sagot. Ayan. Ayan. Yan na yung talagang manalangin ka sa Panginoon. Yan. And then you need to have an answer. Okay? You don't leave the test question blank. No? Kasi ngayon, since machine read yan, we don't know how the machine will treat a blank unanswered. Now, it's better to be wrong on that item rather than unanswered. That's how I look at that. Okay? Sige. So, tahimik nyo guys. Nagkakapi ba kayo? Ako lang ba nagkakapi dito?
We don't have coffee.
Ayan, kakape. No? Sige. Okay, let's continue. So, we're now on number 7. No? So, let's analyze the, this is Joe, no? Lakihan ko na lang to siguro. Para, ano. So, pasensya na doon sa naka-mobile, no? Hindi natin mabasang yung malaki. Alright. So, this is Joe. So, is it possible to motivate this type of student? So, it will try to analyze. So, it will try to analyze the item. It's a yes, right? So, X na agad yung C and D. Kahit hindi nyo nabasahin yan. No, kasi pwede naman talagang ma-motivate yung gantong klase na estudyante. So, X na si C and D. Titignan mo na lang si A and B. Yes, he can do something with his ability. Parang related, no? B, yes, he can change the nature of the job. No, yung B, somewhat off the situation of Joe. Alright? So, the best answer is letter A. O, di ba? Madali. Kasi kung nag-rote memorization ka, kinabisado mo yan, ang lumabas dyan ay hindi si Joe, si halimbawa si Pedro. O, halimbawa, Pedro. Mararatel ka na doon. Kasi nga, yun ang problema ng rote memorization. Pag naiba doon sa minemorize mo, parang nag-error yung computer ng utak mo. Pero if you will try to have critical thinking, analysis, no, you could read. And then you draw out principle from your background reading, from your review. Okay, that's the time. Okay, makes sense, guys? Do you agree? It's letter A or 7?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next, number 8. Ayan, number 8. To which problem does the case of the student allude? Okay, so let's try to analyze. No, let's try to analyze here. Okay, so this is more of a student factor. The focus of the problem is the student. Walang nabanggit sa teachers. Tama? It's all about Joe. That is his response to the task. Mahirap, ayoko, di ko kaya. So yun yung sinasabi niya. No? It's more on the response. So the teacher factor is excluded. So Roman numeral 2 and 4 are excluded on the option. Okay? Because the context is about the student, not the teacher. Therefore, Roman numeral 2 and 4 are excluded. Okay, guys? So what remains? Let's look at the item. Unmotivated student. Yes, there is problem on issues on motivation, on his efficacy, no, self-efficacy, able to accomplish things. No, there are problems. Unmotivated student. And then letter, extremely difficult task. So perhaps this is the external nature, perhaps, no? We could assume. Pero wag natin i-assume na uncaring saka incompetent yung teacher. Wala doon. Wala tayong nakitang ganun. We cannot assume that. Okay? So normal, assume a normal classroom with competent teacher and caring teacher. That's normally our contextualization whenever there are scenarios that are not stated directly. If not stated directly, now we could assume a normal setup of a classroom. Okay? Pwedeng ganun, guys. Ha? Hindi palagi lahat binabanggit sa tanong. So dapat may mga assumptions tayo dyan. So yung 2 and 4 cannot be an answer. Uncaring, no? Wala namang indication. Incompetent, no? Dalawa lang. Either internally, he is unmotivated, and externally, because of the extremely difficult task. Kaya nasabing hindi ko kaya, mahirap to, no? And other things. Mahirap, ayoko, di ko kaya. Kaya nasabi yan, the two appropriate answers would only be 1 and 3. Roman numeral 1 and 3, which is letter A. Okay, guys, make sense? Make sense, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's move on. Thank you. Okay, this time 9 to 13. Perhaps we could move on faster this time. So, Principal A wants her teacher to be a constructivist in her teaching orientation. Now, if you forgot what is a constructivist mean, no, you are a dead duck already. So, if you will recall on our module, so this is part of the learning process, no? Constructivist is a subgroup of your cognitive group or cognitive process. No, yung constructivist, something to do with that. And I think some of you have discussed that constructivism on our midterm period. No? So yan yung gusto dito. So ngayon, number 9. So Principal A wants her teacher to be constructivist in their teaching orientation. Which does he or she wants his or her teachers to do? So let's make her student derive meaning from what is presented, give meaning from what he presents, let her students construct meaningful sentences based on the lesson, require her students to come up with the construct of the lesson. Okay, may panggulo dito. Dahil constructivist at hindi mo alam yung salitang constructivist, madadala ka dun sa item C and D na may salitang construct. Did you notice, guys?
Yes, sir. Opo.
Oo, mali yun. Hindi yun yung ibig sabihin nun eh. Yung constructivist, ito yung cognitive process na tinutukoy natin doon sa midterm natin. No? Yung mga, I think, is it you, Gillian, who teach this? Who's the one have taught constructivism? Some of you, no, who presented that. So C and D are not answers because they're just obviously connecting the word, and the word is not the meaning of the constructivist. No, parang ginawa mong construction yung meaning sentence based on the lesson. So C and D are not options. A and B ka. Make her student derive meaning from what is presented or give the meaning of what she presents. Which is the best answer?
Letter A, sir.
Okay, letter A. So make her student derive. So we could derive meaning from what's presented, perhaps from patterns, no? Alala niyo yung discussion about that, no? Yung mga patterns, and then yung object, there are meanings, no? So you allow your student to derive meaning from this, okay? Oh, thank you, my wife. Yan, so mayroon na. Guys, may part 2 na akong kape, ha? Yan. Kasi nung morning devotion pa to eh. Itong isa, ayan. Alright. Actually, sa physical class, alam nyo, magkakapi ako sa harapan nyo. Hindi naman bawal sa LD yun. Bawal ba sa LD magkapi sa classroom?
Pwede, sir.
Pwede, no? Pwede magkape. Ayan. Magkakapi ako pag ito, normally, itong dadaling ko. Kaya order ako dyan sa labas. Okay, so let's continue. Number 10. Which one should teachers avoid in terms of the constructivist approach as far as learning is concerned? Okay, so you could add one out. Pwedeng ganun eh. Pwedeng ganun yung titingnan mo yung lahat ng choices, then you add one out. Okay? Reflection, no? Nung present mo, nag-derive yung estudyante na meaning, he reflect. I think hindi okay lang siya. It needs not to be avoided. Okay, memorization of facts for testing. So I think that is something odd of the previous situation. But let's see, what are the other options? Inquiry. Yes, there are inquiries. Now, as you allow your student derive meaning from what's presented, there are inquiries. And there are, of course, that's obviously a self-directed learning because you ask the student to derive the meaning. So it's a self-directed learning. So from these choices, which is the odd one out?
Letter B, sir.
Yeah, letter D, memorization for facts for testing. Okay, very good. Okay. Number 11, what do you think?
Letter A, sir.
Okay, facts. Sige. So sundan natin, ang flow of thought nito kasi, yung mga sumunod na tanong, pwede kang mag-derive na doon ng sagot mo. So dito, letter A. 8A tayo, no? Students derive meaning from what's present. Then, diyan natin sundan yung concept. Kaya yung memorization of facts should be avoided. Alright? So kung meron kang derivation from what is presented, so ano kaya yung... So ibig sabihin, hindi siya facts na present sa'yo. It's your derivation, the student's derivation from what is presented. Nagets nyo guys? May mga relation yung mga tanong eh. Pero sa board, pwede siyang isolate, pwede siyang kalat. Pwedeng kalat to, yung mga tanong. Parang cluster lang natin ngayon. So here, we are actually a student deriving from what is presented. Meaning, hindi mo present siya ng 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Parang ginawa mo, meron kang present na mansanas, isang mansanas plus 2 mansanas equals sa 3 mansanas. Okay, can you derive the meaning of this picture? O kung pupil yan, ma'am, 1 apple becomes 3 when you add 2 more apples. So it's not presented na facts agad. It's something that is derivable from what is presented. Alright? So, palagay nyo guys. O yan, binigyan ko na kayo ng idea dun sa how to attack the problem.
Time-tested principles.
Okay. So, facts, ganun din yung loss. Hindi agad loss. Yung time-tested, hindi pa alam ng bata yung time-tested principle, ma'am, when you present something. Kasi, halimbawa, ito. Oh, guys, 1 cup plus 2 cups. 1 cup plus 1 cup equals 2 cups. Pero ang ginawa kasi sa constructivist, ipe-present mo yung dalawa, hayaan mo yung bata na i-derive yung meaning. Okay? So, hindi siya time-tested, ma'am. It's not yet time-tested. So, it must be hypothesis. Letter G. Hypothesis. So, nagkakaroon siya ng hypothesis. Tentative meaning, derivation. Of course, the teacher will acknowledge that. Will acknowledge that by, pag in-acknowledge ng teacher, sa kanya na i-state yung facts or laws or yung time-tested principles. But initially, it's the hypothesis of the student. Alright, so yun, no? So I think, ano ba yung coverage ito? Hanggang 13 pala yung material na yun. No? Okay, which material will teachers most likely avoid? So this is more add one out again. Add one out. Okay, add one out guys ha. Minsan kasi mahirap siyang i-derive pero siya yung kakaiba doon sa lahat. Okay. Kasi may commonality yung iba, siya yung nag-iisa. Minsan ganun yung atake guys. Sometimes hindi natin maunawaan yung tanong pero pag tiningnan mo yung, if you will look at the test, the choices, something different with one and common with others. So add one out approach yun. Tawag. Okay? Whose do you think is odd among the three? O yan, Ira says letter B. Okay, what else? Other...
Sir, C.
Sir.
Okay. So bakit B? Unquestionable laws. How about controversial issues? It could be subjective. Open-ended topics, it's also, in a way, there's a subjectivity on that. Problems and cases, yes. But unquestionable law, very objective. Okay? So, add one out. Okay? So, letter B is the answer. Though sometimes, hindi mo mag-gets dun sa tanong. May ganong mga tanong, guys, ha? Ganyan. Kaya magulo minsan ng board, eh. Pero, sinusukat lang yan, paano mo i-relate yung mga items, no? Doon sa naiiba at doon sa common. So that's an exact application of this unquestionable laws, letter B. Okay, that's by add one out approach that we have. Pero parang ko-questionin mo yung tanong ngayon. Yeah, parang may ganong sense tayo. Pero if you will consider the choices, siya yung kakaiba. Kasi may flexibility dun sa iba, siya very rigid. Unquestionable laws. Okay? Kasi the question would have a specific answer to avoid. Alright? Kasi pag unquestionable law, wala nang flexibility yon. Wala nang room for opinions or room for perspectives. Kasi very rigid yung letter B. Unlike controversial issues, you may have halimbawa, nag-present ng issue yung isang teacher. So we may have different perspectives or perhaps open-ended topics or problems and cases where you may apply different perspective. But for unquestionable laws, kaya nga unquestionable laws, very rigid yun. Alright? So yun yung... I hope you get it, guys, no? Sometimes there are items that the question is unclear, but it becomes clearer when you look at the relationship of the choices. Ganun ang board, guys. Hindi lang siya batay sa tanong. Minsan batay din sa sagot. Okay ba? Nakakaloka ba? Make sense ba, guys? Sometimes it's not just the question, but the choices also. Alright? And we know there is a better answer for this. No, there is a better answer. But we have given these 4 choices, so we need to choose the best. In this case, add one out approach is we apply. Okay. Now, number 13. On which assumption is the principal's action anchored? Okay, number 13. All right. So students learn to personally constructing meaning from what is taught. I think that is parallel to constructivism. Students reconstruct meaning based on experience. And students derive meaning from the meaning that the teacher gives.
C.
Yeah, I think
This is C.
letter C. Yes.
Letter C.
Yeah, because mas cognitive yung 1 and 2. By the way, constructivism is a subcomponent of cognitism, no? So it's more on mental process. Palaging ibabangga natin, guys, sa general principle. So meaning, ayan, yung dalawang word na meaning dyan based on cognitive, personal meaning on what is taught, and meaning from the meaning of the teacher is definitely constructivist, also cognitism. However, based on experience, ayan, something that is off. So it's Roman numeral 1 and 3. So 1 and wait. Parang mali ako dito. Derive meaning from the meaning that teachers give. I don't think so because initially you presented something, you let the student derive. So it's not the teacher's meaning. You just kumbaga, I am processing the answer. You're just actually recognizing your student's perspective up on the presentation or derivation of it.
Sir, pag constructivism nga po, ang students ang mag-ano ng meaning.
Tama, yung
Pag
appreciation.
tree nga sir, di ba, parang teacher na yung nagbigay ng meaning.
Oo nga, tama.
Opo, pag sa tree, kaya 1 and 2 sir kasi parang bata yung mag-aano
Yes.
ng kanilang based on experience tsaka yung thought ng teacher na binigay. Pero sa 3 sir, parang binigay na ng teacher yung
Oo, parang spoon-fed, no? Sige, noted,
Opo.
RJ. I think, yes. So, yeah, letter C. Correct. Good point. Yan, so, sige. Okay, 14. Okay, so this is more of a general question now. No? We're now out of that constructivist question. What do the school campus extension from the Baryotic indicate? Halimbawa, may mga taga-province, no, you are actually labeling them from the or from the barrio, something like that. Or baryotic, no? I think that's an odd expression. No? Though, yeah, nangyayari yan even in the universities, most especially in exclusive colleges, no, non-sectarian colleges, no, wherein there are sometimes they have scholars from province. No, we could see some people who are giving these expressions. So, what do you think is the most relevant choice for 14?
D, sir.
Okay, letter D. Ira, yes, and Ma'am Nila, letter D. So, it's more of a problem of ethnocentrism. Is a powerless of the poor? I don't think so. Powerlessness of the poor. Hindi naman from the or baryotic poor, ano na agad, economic issue agad. I don't think so. Low literacy rate of the country. In fact, that is contrary, no? Most of yung masisigasig ng mga estudyante galing sa baryo, galing sa province. So I think it's not an issue of low literacy. The power of the rich. So dalawa lang yan. Though dito naman, hindi prevalent yung, it could be C or D. However, the expression would label them, no, in a negative sense, right? So there must be an ethnocentrism, a prevalence of ethnocentrism. Whatever is the ethical, supposedly the norms of that particular school, no? At kapag merong kakaiba, yan, so nagkakaroon sila ng negative labeling doon sa mga taga-baryo or sa province. So I think hindi ito, of course, this is very un-Christian. We don't hindi dapat ito maging issue in Christian schools. Doon nangyayari yan, lalo na kapag sa yung mga pupils, no, nag-aasaran sila. Kasi siyempre most of our kids are not yet saved. They have not come into the saving knowledge of the Lord Jesus Christ. Well, eventually on their education, they will be converted. Pero nevertheless, meron pa rin ganung issues. Of course, as teachers, we need to supervise, lalo na sa mga bata. Yan, nunukso, tuksuhan, ganun. So, ethnocentrism. Okay? Thank you. Okay, number 15. Professor B once said, we talk of developing critical thinking among our students, but when they disagree with us, we get offended. Okay, critical thinking pero na-open pag counter yung sinasabi. To which Filipino trait does this point?
C.
Sir.
Okay, so inquisitiveness of Filipino youth. Let's analyze, no? So I think hindi naman yun ang tinutukoy dyan. Lack of seriousness among Filipinos. No, kasi ang issue is on the one that's suggests critical thinking, but when there are contrary ideas, we get offended. Parang gano'n, disagree with us, we get offended. No? So it's more on letter C, correct. Extreme authoritarianism. Yeah. So lack of subjectivity, hindi naman kasi nga merong critical thinking. Yun nga lang, kapag naiba yung na iba yung kanyang pananaw dun sa professor, nagagalit yung professor. We get offended. Okay? Maraming ganito sa university. Maraming. Actually, marami rin ganito sa Christian college, Bible school. So may mga ganito na kung ano yung take ko dyan sa verse na yan, yun na yung take nyong mga estudyante. Yung mga ganon. Pag sinabing ang Church of Christ ay local only, that's your position also. Yung mga ganong yung mga impositions. Sometimes it also in the pulpit, no? Although we respect the bishop or the preacher in the pulpit, but to impose upon our conscience, his own position, that will be your position, that extreme authoritarianism already. Okay? So yun. Nangyayari din yan sa church, hindi lang sa classroom, itong bagay na ito. Kasi may mga issues na hindi ginagawang dogmatic, pero hindi naman dapat siya dogmatic. Alright? So yun reflection ko lang. Let's move on, number 16. Okay, number 16. Sige. I would like to ask volunteer to answer. Read the item and your answer. Any volunteer? Just raise your hand. Yes, Ma'am Nila. Please read the question and your answer.
Number 16. Between pursuing a college course where there is no demand and a vocational course which is highly in demand, the students usually opt for the college course, which Filipino value is demonstrated. My answer is letter A, sir. Importance of education. Or basahin ko lahat, sir?
Sige, your answer is letter A. Sige, let's look at the other items first. Sige. Kailangan kasi makita natin to. So
continue pa, sir.
Sige.
Letter B, penchant for a college diploma. Letter C, desire for entrepreneurship. Letter D, interest to obtain a skill. So, my answer is letter A.
Okay, letter A. Ma'am May says letter B. Let's analyze other takers, other choice between A and B. Okay, Ira also. Letter B. So let's look muna tayo sa dulo muna tayo. Interest to obtain skill, I think it's not related. So XCD. Desire for entrepreneurship. There's no idea of entrepreneurship on the item. So it's X also for letter C. Now let's look at A and B. So there is someone related. The importance of education. Now the importance of education is more general concept that could be applied either for vocational and college education. So whether you take a vocational education, you have seen its importance, or college education. So I think there is depending on the desire. Some really are high skilled students that would incline more on the vocational course. Some students may choose professional practice. They will pursue higher education in college. Okay, so I'm looking at that because importance of education is more general. It could be applied both for college education and vocational. So we don't minimize vocational education because it's really an important aspect of our educational system. In fact, it links, no, vocational education links your senior high school if you are into a textbook curriculum to whatever college or professional. Kasi nga ganun na yung K to 12 model paradigm, no? When those K to 12 graduates, grade 12, they have choice. They have choice to pursue college education or pursue vocational technical education relative to their choice of strand or ano bang tawag doon? Yung strand, yung group of strands, what do you call that, guys? I forgot the term. Di ba strand yung stem, yung UMS, saka yung ABM? Ano yung cluster? Cluster of strands sa K-12 curriculum. Oh. Alam niyo na to, naturo na sa inyo. Nakalimutan ko lang, makakalimutin na ako eh. So yun, so meron namang option for textbook, no, to go to vocational education, technical education. And some may pursue employment after senior high school. Kasi when they exit senior high school, they're already of their legal age. Normally between 19 to 18 years old, they will graduate from their senior high. So at an average, they're of legal age, so they are for employment already. So yun yung choice ng K to 12. So pinamimili ka between these three choices, whether you pursue technical training, vocational, pursue higher education, or get employed after senior high school. Since you already have specialization topics or specialization skills on your senior high school. So that's the importance of education. We could reflect on that. Kaya ngayon, ang idea dito, yung battle, Ma'am Nila, between textbook and college. Hindi yung hindi yung importance mismo, kasi we could reflect the importance on higher education and also in vocational. So pareho silang mahalaga. Depende dun sa direksyon ng estudyante. Ang issue talaga dito, battle between the two.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
So letter B, sir.
Yes. The answer is letter B. Penchant for a college
Okay
student.
po.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
That's we analyze, no, yung analysis. Kaya kailangan buo yung pagbasa natin nung lalo na sa let exam mismo. Though may mga obvious answers, sometimes we really need to analyze all choices, no, options.
Yes, sir.
Yan. Okay. Thank you, Ma'am Nila, for your
Thank you po.
participation.
Yes.
Next, who would like to read and give your answer? Number 17. Yes, Ma'am May. Please go ahead.
Lecturer C narrates, I observed that when there is an English-speaking foreigner in class, more often than not, his classmates perceive him to be superior. To which Filipino trait does this point? A. Hospitality. B. Friendliness. C. Colonial mentality. D. Lack of confidence. Letter C, sir.
Okay, correct.
C.
That's an obvious answer. Yan. Actually, di lang nangyayari to sa education, pati sa practical life, no? Umu-order ako sa Jollibee, nakapila ako. May kano, ang bihirang yan, sumingit. Etong ali na to, nagwapuhan siguro mas gwapo sa akin yung kano. Ay sir, may I have your order? Teka, ako muna umu-order eh. Gusto kong i-report sa manager, pero pinigilan ko lang yung sarili ko. Naku, parang inconsistent sa gospel, no? So, ganda lang, sige, nagpaubayan na. Pero, tapos, wala. Parang nangyari dun, sa McDonald's na lang umorder, di na sa Jollibee. Parang, piruin mo yan, dahil kano at English spokening, no? So, yun talaga yung colonial mentality, no? Naka-engrave sa atin yung colonial. So, hindi dapat. No, in fact, ito there is this research that command in language is not a direct correlation of your intelligence.
Yes, sir.
Okay, may ganong, hindi porke ma-Englishin ka, tama ba yung term ko? you have a command, you're already intelligent or smart. So that's not a correlation at all. Okay? So yan, so colonial mentality. So siguro yung ano na yun, hindi ko alam kung mahilig siyang manood ng mga American movies na nag-i-English o masyado siyang believe sa o siguro gusto niya magkaroon ng tip. Wala namang binigay na tip yung kano eh. Basta umorder lang. Yun, yung nakakainis na experience is actually an experience that I really don't want to ayan, yung mga ganon, yung parang BBM at Lenny. Oy, botohan na sa Lunes ha, kaya vote wisely. Tama yan, madam.
I think, sir, one of the reason kaya ganyan yung mentality natin is yung bang nag-start, sir, sa classroom, kagaya nung nung elementary po tayo, pag may estudyante na napakagaling mag-English or magsalita, lahat ng mga guro believe sa kanila just by speaking.
Correct. Though foundational skill naman talaga yung communication, pero hindi lang, it does not define you. No? So, hindi lang yun magdi-define. Halimbawa, may mastery ka ng English at an early stage. Meron ding ganyan. Actually, nung panahon ni Miss Bostre, if I will reflect on it, I have a classmate that has a reading skill. Really, napakaganda magbasa, napakaliwanag. You know what? He's the one that topped the class because of his reading skills only. Then eventually, because we're section 3, he promoted directly to section 1 because of that. No? So ako, napunta sa section 2 kasi medyo may problema ako kay Mrs. Bostre. Eventually, no? Nandun pa rin yung reading, pero nag-reverse when we get grade 3. He was demoted to section 1, section 2. I'm becoming section 3. 3-1, siya naging 3-2. Nagtaka ako, bakit? What happened to our classmate who is good in reading? Na Miss Bostre gave her the first honor during grade when we were in grade 1. But now in grade 3, something odd happened. No? It reversed. I'm promoted to section 1. She was demoted to section 2. Yun talaga, reading lang pala talagang alam niya. We discovered that his reading skill is excellent, but that's it.
Comprehension, wala.
Oo, sabog. Ayun, kaya yan, naalala ko na naman si Miss Bostre. Okay? So yan, siguro may pagka-colonial din to si Miss Bostre. Okay, next. Okay. I think these are general okay, Aisel, are you there? Can you read this? Or Gillian, are my math majors?
Number 18, sir.
Number 18, yes, Gillian.
Ensure that all Filipino children are functionally literate, which mechanism is meant to reach out to children who come from a barangay without a school. Ano po, sir? Letter 8, mobile.
Okay, mobile. So the keyword, that's a correct answer because to reach out. To reach out, meaning there's mobility, sense of mobility on the education. But those other options are also part of the DepEd program. The multi-level classroom, I think it's prevalent, the multi-level classrooms. No? Multi-grade classroom. No? I think when I go back to my alma mater, since I graduated 1991, this year only, wow, there are multi-level classrooms. Now, before it's just a 2-story building. Now it's really improved in facilities, multi-grade classrooms, siniskwela, yes, but this is part of I think ABS is siniskwela program with DepEd. So all of this, but the application is to reach out for barangay. So it must be mobile teacher. Mobility. So it must be If the students cannot come to the school, you bring the school to the community. Okay, that's mobile teacher. So you bring the school to the teacher at to the community by normally yung mga stories natin ng mga teacher, no? Teacher going out to the barrios or to the sitios, no, for the kids to learn. Yeah, mobile teaching or teacher, okay? Hazel, are you there now?
Yes po.
Okay, please read and answer number 19.
Okay po. Number 19 po. Which program of Department of Education is an offshoot of the Filipino Bayanihan Spirit? Letter B po.
Okay, so Brigada Eskwela is correct. So Bayanihan. So Brigada Eskwela, whenever preparations, correct me if I'm wrong, no? Preparations for the coming school year, their parents, the community will join force in arranging, no, physically, volunteering, no, to clean the classroom, no, to arrange to make it in order so that when the first day come in, everything is already prepared, no? So that's Brigada Eskwela. So it's actually a bayanihan.
Pati po mga anak ng teacher kasali.
Okay. Yes. And I don't know if I may recall to participate on those. Kasi very limited yung communication that time. We don't have kasi 1985. Who has a cell phone in 1985? Even phones are very scarce. So the teacher would roam around the barangay. Miss Bostre, if I'm not so sure, he roam around. No, pero limited communication. Kasi kaya when the school announced some volunteer, so those few person within the vicinity of the school lang yung nakaka-participate. Di nakakarating yung balita sa yung that early, no? 85, no? Up to early 90s, no? So saka na lang sulputan yung text na yan at call nung 3G na. GSM pala. Sino nakaabot ng GSM dito? GSM, 2G. 2G po. Yeah. So that's the
Mabigat na cellphone, sir.
yung Nokia phones are prevalent those time. 5110, 6110, 7110, 8110, 9110. 91 yun yung communicator nila. So, but of course, there's scarcity on information dissemination. That's why few are participating that early. But now everybody could be connected to social media or perhaps chat group of parents, no, when the advisor tell, oh, let's go participate, then they could mobilize. Okay, so yan, that's the beauty of the technology. Okay, number 20. Pastor Pen, can you read this? Number 20.
Which development principle is not true? Letter A, children's development is a function of environment and heredity. Letter B, children develop at different rates. Letter C, children develop in a predictable manner. Letter D, children develop skills and abilities in an unpredictable manner. Sir, yung sagot ko po, letter A.
Okay, not true, not true. Actually, ito, sige, ang add one out to. Add one out. So, isa lang dyan yung not true. Yes, A is true, Pastor Pen. It's true. Kasi, it's both the function of environment and heredity. There are hereditary traits that transferred by parents. Alright? Totoo naman, no? May mga minana tayo sa magulang natin. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Kunyari, kulay mo. O kaya yung tangkad mo, yung other physical attribute. Oo nga, opposite option. Tama, Mami. Tama yung observation mo. Ayan, yung of course, the environment could contribute also to the development of the child. Whatever he is being shaped by the environment as well. So both there is an internal trait that is passed through generation, no, by our parents, and this could be developed more by is shaped by the environment as well. So both functions of environment and heredity. So I think this is a true statement. Okay? Okay ba, Pastor Pen?
Yes, sir. Opo, thank you po.
Oo. So it's true. So letter A. And then letter B, children develop at different traits. Yes, it's observable. Observable. Some may grow fast, some may grow wider, some may have a tremendous rate of growth, no? Something like that. And letter C, it's predictable. Okay? Of course, you have learned this in your EDU 101, right? Yung mga developmental stages, these are predictable stages. So normally, this would happen to from birth to your adulthood. No? So you have discussed that in your EDU 101. So it's predictable. Okay? There's predictability. And letter D, children develop skills and abilities in an unpredictable. Ito yung kontra, yung sinasabi ni Mami na opposite. So, out of which, of course, the obvious answer would be letter D. So, it's not true. Yung skills kasi, based doon sa developmental stage mo. These are the skills that are appropriate to your age group. No? So we have that, no? We have that for an appropriate age group. No? For toddlers, what are the skills? No? For preschoolers, for early elementary graders, for intermediate, and then high school, no? So etc. There are skills and abilities that are appropriate to age group. So it's more or less predictable. And it says here, unpredictable, so therefore, it's not true. So the answer is letter D. Okay, next. Chen, can you read this? 21. Missionary Sheng, can you have a wider screen? Or Brother Joseph, may screen ka, Brad? Can you read 21?
Meron naman po, sir.
Sige.
Number 21.
Yes. Please read and answer. 21.
Which type of parenting style is most beneficial to the development of children? According to research, letter A, authoritarian, letter B, permissive, letter C, authoritative, letter D, uninvolved. Yung answer ko dito, sir, letter A, authoritarian.
Okay, sige. Between authoritarian and authoritative, which is a better answer?
Authoritative, sir.
Ayan. So iba yung authoritarian kasi more on absolute talaga yun. Parang si Hitler, no, yung authoritarian. Absolute rule. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Yan, punishment, talagang malupit. So permissive, letter D muna tayo. Of course, letter D is a no, uninvolved. No? Of course, as parents, you should be involved into the growth of your children, development, uninvolved. Permissive, ibig sabihin, ang anong tendency pag binabayaan mo lang ang bata, may kanta yan eh. There's a song. Do you know that song? About Jeff Rocks? Okay. What will be the result if there will be permissive laki sa layaw? Yes. Tama si Pastor si Brother Ken. Jerem. Laki sa layaw. So it's between authoritarian and authoritative. By authoritative meaning the parental authority. Now whether a balance of napapakanta, no, yung kay Mike Hanopol yata yun, no? Was the original of that. Ayan, yung authoritative. No? Of course, authority, parental authority is necessary for the development of the children. Not authoritarian. No, iba yung authoritarian kasi parang kay Hitler yun. No? O yung sense of punishment, pala konting mali, parusa agad. No? So hindi ganon. But for us to have this parental authority to our children. Yan. In terms of loving them, caring for them, guiding them. No? So that's the sense of authoritative parenting style. Okay? So that's the correct answer. Okay? Is Missionary Sheng around? Or okay, if not, Pastor RJ, can you read number 22?
According to Erickson, what years are critical for the development of self-confidence? Sir, hindi po ako sigurado sa answer ko eh. Pero A sa akin, sir. High school years.
High school. Who has other, okay, Meg is letter C. Who else? Sige, you could just...
Preschool years. Letter C, sir.
Okay, letter C. What else? Okay, Erickson, no? So it's part of the developmental stage, no? You have discussed this in your EDU101, no? In your the psychosocial developmental stage. So the self-confidence will have its onset not on the high school. It's too late for high school, Brad. It's too late for high school. It's too late for LM. It must be during the preschool or pre-elementary years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That they should develop self-confidence. In basic skills muna, basic skills of writing or doing some tasks, simple tasks. Of course, everything, the confidence will be developed on basic tasks, then sooner or later becoming more complicated. No, but they gain confidence in some simple tasks or activity, which is appropriate on preschool or pre-elementary years of the children. Okay? So very critical yan. Okay, now that's number 22. Preschool, that's correct. Or pre-elementary. A more appropriate term is pre-elementary, not preschool. So if it's preschool, it should be before school. Tama, Manila. Di ba pag preschool is before school? But you are in a school, a preschool school. Di ba? Yeah?
Formal school, sir.
Formal. So sometimes we call it pre-elementary. Pre-elementary. Para to become more specific. That a school before elementary years. Yeah. Pero tama naman yung preschool, no? Yun yung ginagamit natin na term. Yun lang, sometimes when we're talking about more technical terms, pre-elementary is more precise. But preschool is okay to be used.
Yes.
Okay, okay, who's the last? RJ, no? Ken, do you have a larger screen, Ken? For number 23?
Meron, sir.
Okay, please read and give me the answer.
At the high school level, Kohlberg's advice to teachers is for them to begin discussing with students about abstract principles such as justice and human rights. On the average, in which moral development stage are high school students supposed to be?
Okay. So it's Kohlberg's So the keyword there is abstract principle. Yan yung keyword dyan. So ano yung appropriate na stage? And you may have your tentative answer, and some classmates will also tell their answers.
I think, sir, conventional stage.
Conventional, okay? How about others?
B din ako, sir.
Letter B. Sige, others or other takers. C for May. Meg, letter C also.
I think sir, post-conventional stage.
Oh, kasi yung keyword dyan is abstract.
Abstract.
So it's post-conventional. Abstract principles such as justice, human rights. These are not seen directly but could be experienced eventually in terms of human rights and justice. So these are post-conventional stage. Okay? So yun yung ang keyword dyan yung abstract
Letter E,
principles.
sir.
Yes, ano ba yung sinabi ko? Letter A, correct. So, ito ang tip ko guys. Huwag kayong sasagot pag ganito mga developmental stage. Huwag kayong sasagot ng in-between. Yung katulad niyan, in-between conventional post. There's no such. It should be, yung developmental stage is proposed by the proponents on a specific age group. So, there's no in-between. So, hint ko sa inyo yan. Letter C is an off. Is not an answer. Letter D is not an answer. So that depends on of course the school culture will not be the function of the developmental stage. So letter D is off also. So mamimili ka lang diyan ng A and B. So it's more on since abstract ang pinag-usapan, post-convention yung stage na yun. Okay? So you could refer back to the presentation of this. Okay, D, do you have a larger screen, D?
Hindi po, small.
But can't you see?
Teka lang, try to zoom po.
Sige, palakihin ko pa. Ayan, medyo lumaki pa ng konti. So, number 24.
Ayan na ba? 24? What is the ideal stage of moral development? A. Social contract. B. Universal ethical principle. C. Law and order. D. Good boy and good girl. Or good girl.
Okay. Okay, the ideal is the keyword there, ideal. Ideal stage. Ibig sabihin, ito yung pinaka-ideal. Some will be less of the ideal. Alright? That's how you attack the problem or the question. Which is the most ideal of these four choices, D. Okay, pass or pen, C. Sorry, I have not read the other options. No? Yeah, pass or pen, letter C is the answer. How about others? The keyword there, again, ideal. The word ideal. Letter C, law and order. Okay, for this, letter C. For me, it's C. Sige. Oy, wag kayong maggayahan ha. Pwedeng ibang sagot nyo.
Ako sir, namimili ako sa B and C.
Yeah, it's between C and B and C. Okay, yung boy, girl, X na yung letter D. Yung letter A, parang off siya eh. So, letter A is not an answer. So, it could be B and C only. Again, which is more ideal? It's a battle of the ideal. Meaning ideal, if I will expand the meaning, it's more comprehensive. Ayan, alam niyo na yung sagot. Okay? So, what's the answer? Okay? So, between universal ethical principle and law and order, which is more ideal?
Moral development series. So, C yung pinili ko.
Oo. Pero ma'am, mas, ang ano dyan, yung which is more ideal. Because law and order is more on the practical.
So, universal.
Universal ethical principles, the answer. So, tingnan yung keyword even if you don't know the answer, you could honestly, no, sometimes when we engage with question in board exams, we don't know the answer, but we could critically analyze the word usage. From the word usage, you could adapt some synonyms or related concepts. Okay, that's how you approach that question. So for this case, so it's more on universal ethical principle, which is ideal. But on the practical side, law and order, boy-girl relation, good boy, good girl, or it could be social contract also. But the ideal is universal ethical principle. Okay, because letter B would apply to all. Whether that be yan, A, C, or D. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Ayan. So, number 26. Okay. Wait. I need
25, sir.
at 25. Okay, 25. Okay, any volunteers who among you have not yet recited? Ma'am Nila, your turn. Your turn. Sige.
Okay po, sir. Number 25, based on Freud's theory, which operates when a student strikes a classmate at the height of anger. Letter A, ego. B, superego. C, id. D, id and ego interact. Letter C.
Okay, that's the correct answer. Ito guys, pag pinag-uusapan si Freud, walang in-between answers. Okay, take note. Depende doon sa tanong, but most of the question does not require any in-between answers. So, letter D is wrong. Already. Tandaan nyo to guys, maraming nagkamali dito. Kung kailangan yung mahalin si Freud, mahalin nyo na as part of the review. But of course, the psychosexual development, I will not love. I will not like that theory. But nevertheless, for the sake of the board exam, napakadaming Freudian questions, guys. Sa totoo lang. Siguro mga at least 7 to 10 questions are Freudian. Okay, so yan, pwede nyo nang kabisaduhin siguro yung psychoanalysis niya saka yung psychosexual stages niya. No? Kasi nga, hindi ko alam bakit gustong-gusto niya si Freudan. Yan dalawa, si Freud, si Erikson, no? Si Kohlberg. So hindi nawawala sa mga tanong yan. Now si id, more on ano bang function ni id? Ma'am Nila.
Ano sir? Mas ano siya sa anger kasi sir.
Oh, desire, wants. Yes, wants. Tama si Mami. Yung wants mo. Pleasure, yes.
Ayun, wants.
Yun nga lang, negative kasi nagalit eh. Student strike a classmate at the height of the anger. Yung pleasure na makalamang, parang ganon. So that's the id component. And then the ego is yourself, and the super ego is the moral balance, no?
Moral.
So yun yung sinasabi diyan. So yung letter D is not an answer. Letter D is not an answer. So it must be letter C, id. So yung ego hindi kasi yung ego parang mamimili siya whichever.
Balance.
And then super ego the one that would balance. In terms of moral aspect, super ego. So ayan, so yan, actually related siya sa 26. Who answer already? I think there's a pop-up here. Si Meg. Oh yes, Meg. Nga pala, Meg, your numbers. Please, can you read? Meg, your number 26.
Okay pa. Lumabas pa ako sa Do not cheat. Cheating does not pay. If you do, you cheat yourself. Says the voice from within you in the context of which is our avoid. Id, C, ego, and letter D po.
Ayan, letter B. Super. So it's moral, the moral context, no? So again, letter D, dog, is not the answer. No, sabi ko normally walang in-between answer guys. Panggulo lang ng mga board examiner yan. Walang in-between answer. Pag ganito mga developmental theory yung tanong, normally walang in-between. Kaya yung D, X na agad dyan. So mamimili ka na lang sa tatlo. So,
Sir,
yes.
letter B.
Yung letter D. No.
B po.
Oh yes, your answer is correct. But I'm saying for board problems, there's no in-between answer if the question would refer to developmental theories, including Freudian. So yung letter D, X agad dyan. Wag nyo nang piliin yan. Kasi para nakaka-tempt na pumili ng in-between, no? Kasi hindi mo alam yung sagot eh. Tama ba guys? There's a tendency to choose just the safest. Normally, the safest answer, the in-between answer is the wrong answer. Okay, you need to take sides. No? So for this, so id and ego interact is a wrong answer. It's between id and super ego, so super ego. So yun yung tama. Letter B, correct. Thank you. So yan, konting paalala lang. Alam niyo kung bakit? Kasi nagkamali ako sa board. Nagkamali ako. May mga items ako na I took the in-between answer, which is a wrong answer. I realized when I already get the results of the board, I realized that some of my answer is actually in-between answer. So, I got a wrong answer. So, I realized that. So, kayo, wag nyo nang maranasan yon. No? So, walang in-between na sagot. Normally. Unless the question is specially crafted not to have an answer that an in-between answer. Okay, pero hindi naman pag-aksaya ng panahon ng board na para lang magkaroon ng specialized question na ang sagot ay in-between. Between id and ego. So, it must be a specific answer. Whether it's id, super ego, or ego as the answer. Okay? So, I hope I'm making sense on that. Okay, number 27. Again, Ma'am May. Yes, Ken has an answer. Letter A. Ma'am May, can you read and give your answer also?
Okay po. What is referred to as the looking glass self of Coley? A, it is how I look at myself through the eyes of others. B, it is how others look at myself. C, it is how others affect me. D, it is how I influence others.
Okay.
Letter A po, sir.
Okay, letter A is correct.
Letter A.
Okay, 28. Ira, do you have larger screen? Can you read? 28, Ira. Minsan mahina yung Ira. Can you hear us? Do you have a larger screen, Ira? Okay, sige. Meg, you take number 28, Meg. Okay, Meg, are you there? Can you take number 28?
Sir?
28. Can you read and answer 28? Number 28.
You will understand when a visual assessor so I'm similarly space have now but when one row is spread. It adds up so that it is longer than the other. He says it has more base until it's to read. We will do just hit that.
Okay, just give me your answer, Meg. That's Pia J's theory, no?
Letter D po.
Letter letter B, D. Letter D, as in dog. Okay, so what would be the keyword here? So it's more on. What's your answer again? Sorry, we have not heard.
Letter D po.
D. Okay, good. That's the answer.
Letter D po.
Okay, thank you, thank you. All right. So let's look at the item here.
Letter D po.
Yes, noted, noted. Thank you. But when one row is spread out,
D po.
okay, spread out so that it is longer.
Dog.
Okay, sige. Okay, so parang nagulo yung coins, no? Yun yung parang nagulo yung coins. Tama? So equally spaced, equal amounts, 2 rows of 5 coins. But when one row is spread out so that it is longer than the other, he says that he has more coins. So he attributes the number of coins to excuse me, to the spread of the coins, no? Kasi nag-spread yung coins, no? Based on Piaget's theory, which ability does he lack? Of course, let's try to analyze items here, no? So multiple classification, no, we're not talking of multiple classification in the sense that we're talking of just a single coin, a type of a coin, five coins, 2 rows of 5 coins. So I think they're similar, so there's no classification. Perspective taking. Okay lang, okay, noted, Meg, no problem. Perspective, there are no 1 or 2 perspectives that's we're dealing. We're just talking about coins, no? So X din si B. Reversibility. So it's between reversibility and conservation. Okay, walang sense of reversibility, no? Walang sense na binalik yung coins sa dating lugar. Walang ganong sense. So ang lacking sa kanya, ang tinutukoy na lack is conservation. So because spreading out the spaces of the coins will not be equated to more coins. You just spread out the coins, no? So there's a lacking sense of conservation on the part of that preschool boy. Okay, made sense, guys? Other comments? So letter D is the answer. Correct. Conservation. So you recall your theories, no? You recall? Yan, mababasa niyo dyan. Okay? Sige, honestly, nagbabago-bago yung arrangement nyo kaya hindi ko malaman kung sino na yung nagsalita o ano eh. Dali guys, ha? Okay. Sige, let's move on to number 29, no? Ken, can you answer 29?
When asked about her order, a little girl tells the waiter, yung kagaya kahapon, With today's story in mind, what is the little girl's behavior called?
Okay, sige. Any answer? Yung kagaya ng kahapon. So, may ganung sense, no? Though I would suggest, guys, if you have trouble in thinking, you refer to the notes or perhaps other references pertaining to this. So, marirecall naman niyo yan. Okay, any guess? Jerem, what's your answer?
Wait lang, sir. I think sir, reversibility.
Reversibility, okay. Sige, allow me to pull down notes here. Sige, tingnan natin. Para may baka yung iba sa inyo hindi, ano. Okay, let me check my notes. O, Tia Jay's Jury.
C din yun sa akin, sir.
Reversibility.
Opo.
Sige. So yung teka. So sige, let's ano. So let's say yung ano muna, yung mga non-answer, transducive reasoning, I think that's not transductive reasoning, X. So yeah, mamimili tayo. Conservation. Hindi kasi nagkaroon ng ano, no? Yung katulad nung previous ano natin, na yung number 28, hindi ganun yung scenario. So it must be it's not an issue of previous yung previous dito, hindi yung conservation yung ano, no, yung issue. So it must be between reversibility and pre-operational egocentrism.
Sa note ko, sir, reversibility reverses a sequence of events.
Oo, yung sequence. Pero hindi yung in-apply nyo yung kahapon. Kasi kung titingnan natin yung ano, gaya nung kahapon, yung order niya. Yes, Gillian.
Sa akin po, sir, A po. Kasi po yung egocentrism na character ng bata.
Oo.
Para ano na kung ano po yung akin yun po ulit. Parang
para may claim siya dun sa order niya nung nakaraan. Yes.
Self-centeredness po yung statement niya.
Oo. You got the point, Gillian. Thank you. Kasi halimbawa, order ako sa waiter. Waiter, yung in-order ko kahapon mapapakamot yung waiter. So, ibig sabihin, it's something to do with me. Ano yung in-order ko kahapon, yun din ang ibigay mo sa akin. Alright? So, it's a pre-operational egocentrism. That's more likely to describe yung kagaya kahapon. Okay? So, I suppose you take note of that.
Letter A, sir.
Yeah, letter A is the correct answer.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay? Madali lang guys, for a while. Okay, number 30. Okay, D, can you answer this? Number 30. D, are you around? Okay, Ira, can you answer 30? Do you have a larger screen to view? Okay, sino bang ano? Aisel. Ayan, kayo ha. Magbe-breakfast kayo ha.
Number 34. In the context of Frederick's theory, answer this analogy. So, pre-operational stage, transductive reasoning, and concrete operational stage.
So what's your answer?
Ano po? Hindi po.
Logical reasoning?
Yes po. I mean, di po. Deductive.
Letter B as in boy. Sorry. Okay, sige. So the answer is deductive reasoning. So transductive reasoning for pre-operational. Pag concrete kasi, it's more on, when you say deductive, no, from general to specific. The generality, applying it to specific. You have the general concept applying to specific situation. That's deductive reasoning. You have a generalization, then you have, unlike inductive is more on the specific to general. So normally ang inductive kasi ginagamit sa more on advanced stages. No, but when we're looking at the concrete operational stage, no, it's more deductive reasoning. Hindi in logical reasoning. Logical is very generic. So letter D is an X. Proportional reasoning, no, parang ano lang yan, siningit lang yung letter A. So A and D is not an answer. So you just choose between B and C. And normally it's deductive. It's more in the deductive reasoning. You have a general thought already, apply that to a specific situation. Unlike, mahirap kasi pag yung inductive it takes noted, Gillian, yes. Your excuse, also Acel, if you have class, you may be excused for the session as well.
Thank you po,
Okay,
sir.
see you soon. See you next week, ha? Don't.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Sino pang may class na iba? Kasi mayroon tayong, aware ako na may mga overlap ng 30 minutes, no, yung iba nating classmates. Okay? So deductive is more on the concrete. Pag nakakita siya ng concrete na bagay, ano ba, concrete? Ito, ano ba tong bagay na to? Cellphone. Meron ka ng idea ng cellphone in general, i-apply mo dun sa specific cellphone. Nakita mo. Deductive yun. So from general to specific. Hindi ka naman nakakita ka ng cellphone, o nakakita ka ng specific, saka ka magkaka-idea, ay, ito ay isang Oppo phone. Therefore, cellphone yung hawak mo. Okay? So, in like manner, the reasoning would be the flow that you have an idea of already of a cellphone, apply it to a specific type of cellphone, which is this one, Oppo. So, that's deductive reasoning. Deductive. Pag nakakita ka ng on a concrete sense of it, no, concrete sense ng reasoning, no? So, halimbawa, cup. Ayan. So, may idea ka na ng cup, pero ito, specific na may kape. So, it must be a coffee cup. Now, I'm applying deductive reasoning because I already have a mindset. I know a cup, but there's a cup that is appropriate for a cup of coffee. Same as this or same as this one, whichever. Ayan. Hindi ko maitawa kasi dalawa yung aking kamay na nakahawak. Ayan. So, in-apply ko yung generality ng cup dito sa dalawang specific cups na to. That's deductive reasoning. Make sense ba, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Sige. So, 31. 31. I don't know if I could pull down my Pia J lecture, no, para medyo may reference point tayo. Para meron tayong at least meron kayong though this is just at least meron tayong framework of discussion. This just yung kay PJ. Yan, so these are some of the yung stages of cognitive development, sensory motor, pre-operational. So these are the characteristics, no, concrete operational, then formal operational. So it become logical thinking, analogical reasoning, no, etc. So that's our frame of reference. Okay, let's so this is already uploaded in your classroom, no? I uploaded this reviewer. So general, but there are more specific. The book, the module has specific. Yun nga lang, in-arrange in such a way that it will be part of the activity. Though may mga lecture din dun sa modules. Alright. Okay, pinakita ko pero ito ang tanong. Sige, I will answer this. Anyone could answer. Which is the order of cognitive development according to Piaget? Okay, so these are the stages. Which is the first one? Just give me the answer.
Letter A, sir.
Letter A.
Letter A, sir.
So, letter A, sensory, then pre-operational, then concrete and formal.
Concrete and formal.
Okay, so that's correct. Actually, that pala hindi ko muna pinakita to. Yeah. So these are the stages of cognitive development. So, yan. So yan, mga bagay na yan, pag ganito mga order, I suggest you create a mnemonic. May mga mnemonics yan, guys eh. So pwede kayong let me give you an example. Mga mnemonics doon sa yung mnemonics mas madaling tandaan kaysa yung mismong word minsan. Pero nasa inyo yun, it's up to you. No, whether you use mnemonics or the exact words. No, kasi mnemonics, pwede mo ma-pull down yung meaning nun right away. Pero pag yung word nawala sa isip mo, wala na yung order. So yun yung naging problematic sa ganung approach. Kaya sinasuggest karamihan ng mga reviewers ay mag-mnemonics kayo. Gawa kayo ng mnemonic. Bigyan ko kayo ng halimbawa dito. Ito. This is an example of mnemonic. So, si Jean Piaget ito. No? Gusto nyo rin ba to guys? Yung reviewer ko sa mind, Ito yung ano eh, yan, sa Mind Gym. I got also, but this is not new already. Hindi na to, ano, meron na silang ano. Yan. I was able to struck the reviewer from their online. During the time that I enrolled on their program, review program. But not the actual class, but just the online. Schemas, no? Alam ko merong mga andito eh. Siguro upload ko rin to guys, no? Naka-PowerPoint siya, maganda rin siya pang review. Nasa na ba yung cognitive development?
Yes, sir. Thank you po.
Naka-PowerPoint na siya. Ayan. So, ito yon. Ito guys, no? Yan yung mnemonics nyo. Special copy. Diba? Sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete, and formal. Special copy. O, diba? Siyempre, pag gusto mo ng kape, special coffee. SP coffee.
Yes.
Okay ba yun, guys? So, siguro upload ko rin to. Ayan. So, kasi kayo na yung, siguro, hindi ko na kayo mamimit eh. Yung CTP class, I won't meet you anymore. No? Kung 1 year yan, so 1 semester. Ayan. So, huli na natin kita to unless they will assign me another edu course. So, I might as well give everything I have for your preparation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you po.
Ito guys, sinasabi ko, mnemonics. Ayan, pagka yan, special copy siya. Ayan, tapos saka may paliwanag ng mga ano lang naman, sample lang. Kaya yan. Special copy. Tama, no? Special copy. Ayun, no? SPCF. Special copy. Alright, 32. Brother Joseph, can you read 32?
Teacher Hits begins lesson on handling by demonstrating front and back. Some in slow motion and physically guiding his students through the correct movements. As his students become more skillful, he stands back from the mat and gives verbal feedback about how to improve. With his theory in mind, what did teacher Hits do? Letter A, guided participation. Letter B, interaction. C, retention. Letter D, scaffolding.
Okay, give me your answer.
Letter D, sir.
Letter?
Scaffolding.
Scaffolding is correct.
Scaffolding.
Yan, Vygotsky yan. Pag scaffolding, Vygotsky. Vygotsky is social cognitive theory. Parang nandito rin yun. Kasama siya nito eh. Yan, kasi ito may mga paliwanag pa. No? I think Vygotsky is here. Oops, teka. Ito nga, may mga ganito pa, no? So, yan. You could maximize that eh. No? Nasaan na yun? Teka. Nandito yun. Yung kay Vygotsky. Ano lang, na-miss ko lang yun. Teka. Parang nawala. Teka, wait. Ito yung kay Pia J, no? Ito, yung social learning ni Vygotsky. Of course, Albert Bandura and Lev Vygotsky. Ayan, yung mga Bobo dolls study. Ayan, Vygotsky. Ayan. So, more on scaffolding siya, no? Siya rin yung zone of proximal development. Zone of proximal development. Ayan. Yan. So, yan yung Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. So, can solve with help or scaffolding. So, ito yung scaffolding, guys. So, parang ang nangyari dyan, yung degree of independence, yan, cannot solve problem. So, you can solve with help or scaffolding. And then, eventually, you could solve independently. So, dahan-dahan, yung pag-help mo, yung proximal development na tinatawag. So, may overlap siya. So, in-overlap ng tatlong circle na ito. There are cases that cannot be solved but could be solved with the help, with the helper, with scaffolding, and eventually it could be solved independently. So yun yung task ng zone of proximal development. Yan, so yung bagay na yun. Okay? So yan, that's the correct answer, no? Scaffolding. Okay? So kaya lang hindi binanggit si Vygotsky, no? Hindi kailangan kasi more on ang keyword dito, demonstration, no? The manner that demonstrate, guiding, no? Yan yung mga keywords diyan, guiding. And then eventually he allows, ibig sabihin ang stages ng proximal development cannot be solved, problems that cannot be solved, problems that can be solved with scaffolding, and problems that could be solved independently. So, yan yung na-demonstrate sa problem na ito. Una, hindi nila pa alam, kaya kailangang ituro ni Teacher H. Then, yung naturo niya na, nagkaroon ng assimilation, guiding. So, that's the scaffolding process. And, eventually, yan sabi dyan, as a student more skillful, he stands back from the mat and gives verbal feedback. So, nagiging independent na yung mga bata. Okay? So, that is scaffolding. Okay, number 33. Okay, anyone could answer. Is essential in cognitive development of person according to Vygotsky. There's an obvious answer here. So because Vygotsky is a social, yes, Ken, what's your answer?
Pindot lang sir. Pero this is essential in the cognitive development of persons according to Vygotsky. Social interaction, sir.
Correct. Okay, that's the correct answer. Social interaction between the one that provides the scaffold and the student. So because Vygotsky is social learning, no? So nandun yung word na social. Tingnan nyo na lang guys yung social. Letter B lang siya, no? Tama guys? Pero ito ang problema. Your problem is that if you forgot who is Vygotsky. That's the big problem in taking the board. How will you solve that? Of course, Vygotsky, you equate it to social learning. Social cognitism. No, that through interaction, there'll be some mental processes ongoing through social interaction. And that is what we call scaffolding, according to Vygotsky. So it's a social interaction. Okay, correct. So wala nang iba guys eh. Scientific thinking, individual mental work, independent teaching, all of which are cognitive but not social learning. Yun yung pagkakaiba doon. No? Ito lang yung social eh. May sense in terms of social learning or social interaction. Okay? Okay, 34, would like to volunteer? 34? Yes, Pastor Pen.
Teacher X asked her students to describe how their families celebrate holiday. Students can discover that people celebrate holidays differently. Which principle in cognitive development governs Teacher X teaching activity? Sir, yung idea ko po related po dun sa number 33 po. Yung sagot ko po letter A, social interaction is essential for cognitive development.
Okay, correct. Okay, pansinin natin. No? So, ayan, describe, celebrate. Okay, student can discover that people celebrate holidays differently. So more on social, no? So how do you know that they are different? Of course, through social interaction, no? So it actually is connected or somewhat a function of your cognitive development, your social interaction. Now let's look at the other option. Children actively construct their knowledge. All right, actively construct. It's true, but cannot be connected completely to the question. Okay, parang kapos yung letter D statement. No? Ayan ang tingin ko dyan. Letter C, cognitive development involves relating new information prior to knowledge. Hindi, kasi new information was derived from the social interaction by knowing students celebrating their holidays differently. So from the social interaction. No? So there is no prior to knowledge. New information prior to knowledge is an X, letter C. Is X, letter D is X. Children often think in different ways at different stages. This is a general statement that may be true not only for cognitive, no, but we're talking here of cognitive development. Okay? So dapat ang sagot natin is specific doon sa situation. No? Letter B may be true, but not specific for number 34 item. So social interaction is essential for cognitive development. This is a more better generalization of a specific item number 34 rather than letter B. Though letter B could be also an answer, but it's not a direct bullseye. Alright guys, so the bullseye is letter A, social interaction. Okay? Okay, 35. Who would like to volunteer reading 35 and answering, giving answer? Okay, May, please read 35.
Number 35, social exposure to various cultures expands a child full of knowledge. Which statements go or goes with this sentence? One, the less experiences a child has, the more disciplined he or she becomes. Two, the more experiences a child has, the richer his or her world becomes. Three, the more selective parents in the exposure of their child, the more challenged the child becomes. Yung number one po is wrong na. So letter A and C is eliminated na po.
Yes. Correct.
Letter B.
What's your answer?
Letter B, sir. B as in boy.
Okay, correct. Tama. Thank you, May, for applying the process of elimination here. No? So, yeah. So, yung 1 is not an answer. Therefore, A and C is not an answer. So, it's between B and D. Yan yung... So, but of course, yung letter number 3 kasi is just an assumption. It's not inside the question. Social exposure to various culture expands. Nag-assume siya. No? Nag-assume siya. Hindi niya kinunclude. Nag-assume lang siya. More selective parents in exposure of their child, the more challenges. So, hindi siya direct hit dun sa the question. No, hindi siya direct hit. Yung direct lang dyan, yung letter B, number 2. Now, the more experiences, that could be a better conclusion. The more experience child has, the richer his or her world becomes. Because of exposure to various culture, expand child's pool of knowledge. So, yan yung direct hit. Yung number 1 is a no-no. So, number 3, it's just a presumption. It's not a direct hit of the question. So, number 2 is, kaya 2 only is the right answer. Okay? Thank you, May, for that. Oh, pwede na pala kayo mag-board eh, no? Gagaling nyo na mag-analyze, guys. No, ng test item. Okay, we have few minutes, no? So we could maximize the time. Okay. Okay. Sige, would like to answer? Yeah, I'll be reading the question. No? Rodel gave a wrong answer. The teacher said wrong. You are way off. O, di ba? Pero hindi naman ginagawa ito ni Miss Bostre. Hindi niya sinasabi. Hindi niya sinasabing mali ka. No, pag maingay lang siya pumapatpat eh. Si Miss Bostre. Pero ito kakaiba to. Teacher said you're wrong, you're way off. As a consequence, other students in the class were afraid to answer questions because they might have the same experience as Rodel. Which of the following is an illustrated by the event? Okay, let's look at the wrong answer. Letter D is wrong. Nothing is concerned about statistics here on this question. Tama. Letter D is wrong, dog. Yan, central tendency, you have your statistics, no? So, nothing to do with that. Severity error. Severity error. Hindi naman. No, hindi naman siya si Miss Bostre na mali ka, may hampas ka sa akin. So, I don't have the sense of that question. So C is also wrong. So it's between ripple and halo effect. Okay? So that's the scenario. So Jerem has A as an answer. All right? So yeah, that's correct. Ripple effect. It's a ripple effect. So kasi takot yung mga bata, they are afraid of being scolded, no, by the teacher. So they don't want to experience such. Therefore, they won't give answers because their answers might be wrong, and that they will suffer the same consequence as Rodel. So it's a ripple effect. Okay. Make sense, guys? Ripple effect. 36. Actually, we have not discussed that, no? I don't know what aspect. I think in 101. I'm not so sure if it's taught in 101, but I have not encountered ripple effect on our course. Perhaps in a sideline, no? You will be facing with those questions, guys. No? So that's why readings is essential. No? Though there are overlapping topics, better to have exposure to different literatures, no? So that at least you may have a comprehensive reading you could apply, or you could have an analysis. Now for here, ripple effect and halo effect, no? But I think it's more of a ripple effect. Hindi naman halo kasi ano bang halo? What's the halo effect? Parang lumiwanag, gano'n, nag-illumination. How will you connect that to the situation? I'm not so sure. So kaya ripple, it's the best answer here. Okay. Next, apply theories on learning and development. Okay. Let's. I have few minutes, so perhaps you could. I will read the question. You answer, all of you. Just give your answer. Principal Emilia wants her teachers to apply constructivism. Again, constructivism, no? That's the situation. Okay, parang inulit, no? Actually, ito, guys. It's true in board exam. There are items that are being repeated. You know what's the purpose? Because if you're wrong on the first, you will be wrong on the second. Okay, guys, that's the sense of it, no? Because it's also a test of consistency. You will be consistently wrong or consistently correct if you are dealing with items that are repeated all throughout the testing material of your board exam. Now, there are cases that they are repeated. There are many, 1 or 2 or 3 items that are repeated intentionally So that will test your consistency. So you may be consistently wrong or consistently. Ayun.
Sir, yung una po, avoid to po list, prepare yung sagot lang po yung parehas.
Ayun. So you have two options here. Three options pala. Either consistently wrong ka or consistently correct. Or may iba kang option sa ibang item. Yan, para sigurado. Yun lang, ang ano doon, ang magiging dilemma doon, baka yung pareho mong sagot mali. Kasi magkaiba. So I suggest guys, you go for consistency. You go for consistency. No, kasi pwedeng magkaiba yung sagot mo pero parehong mali. Mas probable na pag consistent, either you're consistently wrong or consistently right. That's for me, no? But if you will take the in-between in answering because it had been repeated, it's up to you. So because there's a tendency that the first choice is wrong and the second choice is wrong also. No, so parang pareho unless you'll be sure of the first question to be correct, then the next repeated question is correct also. So but it's up to you, it's your take, no? For me, I will be more consistent on my answer. I won't take other options. No,
Pag consistent po, 50 chance of correct, 50 chance na mali. Mas malaki po yung chance pag magkaiba.
Pag magkaiba.
5% chance lang na tama yung sagot mo.
Actually, pareho lang. Kasi dapat i-average mo yung consistently wrong sa consistently correct. Average nun. Pareho lang yun. Probability lang yan. Pero nasa inyo pa rin yan. In the test itself, mapipil mo naman kung mali ka nung una eh. Halimbawa, bigla mong naalala, ay, mali ako nung una. O, di i-correct mo na. No, pero as I'm saying, if you should be you could have the right answer already or even in the first attempt. No, it's still your call if you will have another answer. Just to make sure, what if tama pala yung sagot mo nung una? Kala mo lang mali. Tapos, iniba mo yung sagot mo sa pangalawa, nagkamali ka tuloy. So, pwedeng ganun din yung scenario. But it's still your call during the board. But if you will ask me, I will be consistent on my answer.
Okay po.
Okay, nasa call nyo pa rin yun. Call nyo pa rin yun kung magkaiba. Okay? So, yung 37, of course, yung the list, no? Which material will teacher list prepare? Of course, we already answered this, no? So A is rigid, the most rigid of this BCD. So that's the answer, no? Kasi open-ended, controversial issues, problem cases is more flexible. There could be reflections, they could derive meaning, no? So those are constructivist in teaching. But unquestionable, no more reflection because that's very rigid, no? Rigid. So letter is a repetition. So 38. Naulit guys, no? Anong sagot natin? What's our answer? 1 and 2, right? Constructing meaning,
Yes, sir.
what's taught, and students reconstruct meaning based on experiences. Yan. So naulit siya, no? So sinasadya rin talaga sa reviewer to kasi nangyayari talaga sa actual exam na may inuulit. So minsan nag-iiba-iba lang ng arrangement ng letters, ng choices, no? So ayan. So 39. Okay, which concept of the learner Principal Emilia as a constructivist not accept? Is not accept. 39. Okay, sa constructivist, now there is already there's an idea of you have already processes in mind prior to learning. You're already there is this process. You're focusing on the learning process rather than the input-output. Kasi yung behaviorist, input-output yan eh. Stimulus-response. Stimulus there's a corresponding response according to behaviorists. But the cognitive constructivist camp, it's more on the process, meaning there's already ongoing process even prior to learning. Okay, meaning it's not zero. The student doesn't have empty mind on the process. So that is the sense of that. No? Pag nag-focus tayo sa process, ibig sabihin meron ka ng idea sa loob ng isipan ng bata na nagkakaroon siya ng proseso on the moment of the information that had been taught to the student. There's already a processing or perhaps a prior knowledge preparing him to understand what the teacher had been presenting to him or her. So that's the issue behind here, no? So what do you think is the answer?
Letter D, sir. Yung number 1 and 2 parehas lang po ng idea, ng concept.
Okay, pero ang tanong, not accept.
Not accept. So, sorry, letter B.
Di ba?
Letter B.
Kaya hinighlight to ng reviewer, not accept. Pero kung accept, letter D is the answer. Right? Pero ang tanong ay not accept. So it must be Roman numeral 1 and 2. So letter D is the answer. Okay? Hindi siya zero, hindi siya empty vessel or tabula rasa. Pareho lang. Tama yung observation mo, same meaning mo. Okay? So kaya lang not accept. So it must be, so be careful with this not or no or without or except or avoid. No? So those are the keywords. No? Tama nga yung sagot mo pero ang tinatanong yung mali. So nagkamali ka na. Kasi tama yung sagot mo pero ang tinatanong mali. No, di ba? Yun, medyo sir, ang sakit sa ulo. Hindi, kasi ang tinatanong niya, ano yung mali o hindi ka tanggap-tanggap. Pero ang sagot mo tama. So mali ka. So dapat ang sagot mo yung mali din. Kasi ang tinanong niya mali. Ano yung mali? Therefore, ito yung mali. Kaya we be careful with that word, not except, avoid, no? So those are keywords, no? Okay, 40. So I think this will be our last item, no? It's taking our clock. So sige, I'll read, you give me the answer. All of the following describe development of children age 11 to 13 except. Sige, you read the items first. Parang tama lahat, no? May answer letter D. How about others? Sheng, Missionary Sheng, letter D. Letter D. There's still ano pa lang to eh. Grade 6 towards freshman, no, high school. So parang ganun yung edad niya. Letter D. Okay. So actually the answer is letter A. Letter A siya. Tingnan natin sa analyze. They show abstract thinking and judgment. They are starting to show abstract thinking on that age. All right? Letter D. It's true for children at that age. Kasi tatawid niya siya ng high school, no? So meron ng, in a way, development of the word there is to show, not necessarily a command of the abstract thinking. Showing. Ibig sabihin, meron ng development of abstract thinking and judgment. So letter D is correct. Letter C, they exhibit increased objectivity in thinking. So becoming from subjective to objective thinking. I think that's also prevalent among high schoolers, no? Early high schoolers, no? Age 12, 13. So that's correct also. And they shift from impulsibility to adaptability. They learn to adapt Rather than to be impulsive on different circumstances, they're becoming adaptive, they're more flexible with situation. And that's observable among this age group. What is sex difference in IQ becomes more evident. Not yet. I don't think at this early stage. Unless there are researches, no? Researches that would says otherwise. No? Eventually to no? Siguro more on the further development that evidently no, nagkakaroon na ng pagkakaiba yung IQ. No, perhaps IQ, but IQ per se will not be a determining factor of intelligent quotient. I'm not so sure about recent research, but hindi naman sasabihin ng mas matalino yung mga ladies sa mga lalaki. Hindi naman pwedeng ganon. Hindi kami papayag nila RJ niyan saka ni Ken. No? So walang ganon. There's wala talagang ganong sense. Siguro on later years. But I'm not so sure if there are researches available for letter A. So parang mas tentative sa lahat ng options, guys. Mas tentative yung A. Sigurado tayo sa D, sigurado sa C, sa B. Pero tentative yung A. Kaya ang sagot ay A. Parang add one out yan. Again. So, kasi except. No, except. So, do you agree, guys? You may not disagree. We may not agree with me. Okay? That's how I look at that. So, pinaka-tentative sa kanya yung A. Yung B, C, D are okay siya. Part siya ng development stage. Kasi abstract naman, hindi ka lang nagkaroon ng abstract reasoning nung matanda ka na. Of course, it started with this stage in time. And then yung objectivity mo, nag-increase din. Yung adaptability rather than impulsibility, yung impulsiveness. No? Nangyayari yan during this puberty age. Na puberty to guys, yung age 11 to 13 is puberty. So there's this transformation. And then of course, the secondary sex characteristics are just onset on this time. Kaya we cannot really have a tentative evidence of the sex difference because it's only this time. Tama ba, Mamay? Yung secondary sex characteristic only prevalent during the puberty age between 11 to 13. That's the time the secondary sex characteristics are starting to be active.
Yes, sir. Pero po, kaya po hindi ko pinili is during elementary po na distinguish ng mga bata yung sexes. Kaya po mas marami silang girl na friends kumpara sa pag girl na bata, mga friends niya is girl. Pero po yung with sexuality, hindi pa po nila na-differentiate doon. Ang alam lang nila, girls kami and then boys yung other group.
Pero, but in terms of the item here, IQ more evident, differences on IQ. So parang wala pang ganun.
Merong mga cases na sa primary po nagsistart.
Primary. So siguro the question item needs to be updated. Pero sa item na to, the most tentative is letter A. B, C, D are generally accepted.
Ano po yung sa letter D, hindi ko napansin yung word na show. Tama po yun.
So, ibig sabihin, nagpapakita, hindi pa yung command, show pa lang, ibig sabihin development. Okay, nagde-develop pa lang, ibig sabihin, nagpapakita siya. Magmamanifest sa kanya. Parang ganun yung sense ng expression. So generally, B, C, and D are correct. A may be correct, but tentative. Kaya, yan ang sagot natin, letter A. Okay? So, thank you guys. Salamat.
Okay po.
So, thank you, May, for that insight. No? Okay, so we will have our last session by next week, guys. So, hopefully, we'll cover most of the questions. And then, the next half, bahala na kayo mag-review doon. Yung second half, kasi ito, we're looking at the volume 1. Volume 2, it's up to you. There are parallel questions there. No, but this one, we will try to maximize our time answering. Or if not, kung walang wala ng time, sasabihin ko na lang yung mga sagot. Siguro, kapag wala na time, i-rush natin until we reach 131 items. No? So these are we're still less than half. But nevertheless, we will continue by next week. Will be our last session, and then the following week will be our semester challenge. No? I would invite you to be here on week 18. I'll be giving some exhortation for you. So this is my semestral tradition to my students since I started teaching here LD, giving my final challenge to you, not only you but for my math students. I will invite other students to come in also on our Google meeting next Saturday. Okay? So thank you so much guys for your participation. Really appreciate that.
Thank you din, sir.
Okay, yes, for the sake of the CTP students, yan. Basta I will announce whether midterm and final exams are pop up already on the on the Google Classroom. Again, midterm will still have the same coverage, modules 7 to 18. Now that's the coverage of your midterm exam, together with part 2 review material that I have uploaded. So I will get that also from that. That's the midterm coverage. The final coverage is all throughout. Okay, that's why we are reviewing all of the review materials here. The entire review materials is for you to prepare for finals. Here. So for the sake of CTP, the uploads will be earlier, so that by when we land on May 14, you already have your grades. Now by May 14. So I will be, siguro mamaya ma-upload ko na yan or in few days yung inyong exam. At least May 14 I could submit the grade if you want to take immediately, but still it will be open until May 21, because I know CTP should have I'll be giving the records earlier, a week ahead, because you are graduating as a CTP student. But for the rest, no, May 21 is our last day. Okay. Anyway, whether you are graduating or not, I will not change the due date, which is still May 21. Okay. So that's my last announcement. Thank you, guys. I hope you gained something. Thank you for your participation. I also learned from you.
Thank you also, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. So, sige, let's close in a word of prayer. I ask Missionary Sheng to close us in a word of prayer.
Yes, bro. Let's pray, bro. Our Father God in heaven, Lord, we praise and thank you for compassion and passionate of our teacher. Father, we thank you for his life. We pray, Lord, may you continue to bless him as he continue to be blessing to all of us, not only all of us, but also to other students. And I pray, Lord, may you continue to bless his wife and his son or the whole family, Lord. Thank you so much for the privilege to know each other by your grace. Father, I pray, Lord, may you continue also bless all of us as a student. May you encourage all of us, many things challenge to do, but please always guide us, Lord. We always do our best for your glory and honor. We thank you, Lord. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen, guys. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thanks.
Bye. God bless.
Thank you, sir. Thank you po.